team fifth. Cougar foul, number 10, Sydney Freeman, her third, team sixth. Oakhill foul, 33, Andrean Trexler, her second, team fifth. Rebound bucket.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Here at Always 100, we have different things that we provide each week with our elite training, working on things that can help them get a scholarship in the future if they don't have one right now. Watching skill development, helping kids get better, understanding what it takes to get to the next level. Catching and shooting, working on ball handling. In the last 5 years, we had over 200 kids that's able to play basketball at some places from the NAIA, Division III, Division II, or Division I level.
I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
Your kids grow up quick, and there's a lot to teach them. Some lessons they won't pick up in school. Some they'll learn the hard way. But when it's time to give them the keys to their finances, we'll be there to help with their first checking account and the tools they need to make sense of their money. And even though they're off on their own, you'll be able to check in to see how they're doing. Raising your children is important, and teaching them about money is a big deal. So ProFed makes it easy. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing.
Welcome in, everybody, to Butler, Indiana for the Class 2A football semi-state championship game between the Andrean 49ers. Andrean coming in ranked number 8 in the final Class 2A AP media poll, number 4 in the coaches poll. Andrean coming in with a 10-3 record, 4-1 in conference play. They did lose their final regular season game of the season at Lowell 17-7, which gave them a 3-way share of the Northwest Crossroads Conference title. And they're going to take on the Eastside Blazers. The Blazers have been on fire here in playoff play. They come into today with an undefeated 13-0 record, 4-0 in conference play as they won the Northeast Corner small division. Eastside having beaten number 1 ranked Eastbrook and number 2 ranked Bishop Lures in back-to-back weeks entering today's game, knocking off the Knights 21-16 in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then last week at home winning it 21-14 against a very tough Eastbrook team. Eastside brings with them who many believe is the player of the year in Northeast Indiana in quarterback Laban Davis. A senior at 6'1", 205 pounds, can do everything here for Eastside and has a school record 2,152 yards rushing on the season. On the other side of the ball, Andrean has one of the best junior players in the whole country. It's Drake Bowen, a junior running back linebacker at 6'2", 215 pounds. Bowen, a month ago, committed to Notre Dame, the University of Notre Dame, to continue his collegiate football and baseball career. Bowen, as a junior, ranked number 1 in the state of Indiana. Folks, once again, thanks for joining us. My name is Jeff Mahoney, bringing you your play-by-play for today. And in the booth with me, I have Joe Walburn, as always, and Jake Smith. And guys, I got to tell you, this game on paper is shaping up to be a great game. You have a team in Andrean who lost 9 offensive starters a year ago. They lost a running back who had over 4,000 yards rushing throughout his career. So they had a lot of pieces that they had to replace. And on the other side, you have an Eastside football team that's been playing together since they were babies. These guys all know each other. They go to war with each other. They are brothers. This is shaping out to be a very exciting game.
And absolutely. And as far as Andrean with that loss to Lowell, they've almost been like an angry team in the playoffs, outscoring opponents 156-16. So Andrean really came into these 2A playoffs with a chip on their shoulders, and I love Drake Bowen, 6'2", 215, 6.5 yards per carry. But on the defensive side, 91 tackles. So as awesome as Drake Bowen is, a Notre Dame recruit, Jake, I think the key for Andrean, though, has been the quarterback, Scott Ballantyne, only a sophomore. And when do you see a sophomore with that much moxie that completes 68% of his passes, Jake, and has a touchdown-to-interception ratio of 26-7? So 6 feet 180, the sophomore seems to be very accurate and really good with the decision-making process.
He absolutely does, and how can you not be exceptionally excited for a game like this, the Fighting 59ers and the Blazers? There's just playmakers all over this field, and back to your point about Andrean, the Scott Ballantyne offense. It's going to be top-notch. His brother, a senior, outside at wide receiver. And my favorite player that I've got to watch film on this week, Patrick Clax III, the sophomore, who's already got an offer from the Pitt Panthers and about 7 other schools looking at him. So there's a lot of firepower on the offensive side of the ball for the Fighting 59ers.
Big time. And what Jeff Mahoney always says, a good offense needs to have balance. And it's interesting because with Andrean, they average over 300 yards a game, but 200 of those are passing. So, and Ballantyne does such a nice job that Jeff kind of identified in the tape, the ability to look players off and go certain ways. But what I like so much about Andrean, which I think has been successful for them, Jeff, is, Clax is, maybe possibly Pitt's all over him as a recruit, but they have 3 weapons they can throw the ball to. Not just Clax, they can come back and throw the ball Alonzo Paul. I really like Alonzo Paul. And Scott can always throw the ball to his brother Robbie. So you've got 3 receivers that are all over 40 catches this year. So you don't see that very often, Jeff, on a high school level.
Especially from a sophomore quarterback. I had a chance to speak with Coach Chris Skinner, who's in his 16th season at Andrean, and he said, you know what, guys, Scott Ballantyne offers us something that we haven't been able to do since Zach Merrill was our quarterback.
Great name, too, Zach Merrill down at IU, correct?
Yeah, and Merrill now at IU. So this is a very proud program at Andrean. They've got 2 state championships under their belt. They had back-to-back in 2013 and 2014. That's when they won the NCC consecutive titles.
Yes.
Outright. They did not have a conference loss. So that loss, the final game against Lowell in the regular season, that really burned these guys.
It did.
And Joe, just like you said, they've been on fire.
Played angry team in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, and the teams that they beat have a combined record of 26-18. So it's not like they were just playing a bunch of nobodies.
Sure.
They played some good teams, but not exactly the type of caliber teams I think like this Eastside team has played. Knocking off a Bishop Luer squad that was ranked number 1 in the AP and the coaches poll for the majority of the season, and then a very, very tough Eastbrook team. We got a chance to see Eastbrook play at New Haven, and they wiped the field with the Bulldogs. And then a week later, they did the same thing to Mississinewa, and that was a Mississinewa team that held in with Northridge a week ago for the regional championship. So Eastside has earned the right to be in this game, no doubt about it. They won their first regional championship in school history, and Coach Todd Mason said, you know what, this is an Eastside team that's all in. This is an Eastside team that's the most all in of any teams I've ever coached.
Yeah, and Eastside, this is their best team ever, deepest playoff run. And what I like what Coach Mason did is kind of like what Jake's doing out in Whitley County. Coach Mason identified Laban Davis when he was young. When Laban Davis was a freshman, he tore up the JV. And what Coach Mason and his staff did when you talked to him, Jeff, was they took that off season and they built their whole offense around Laban Davis, which is really a compliment because Laban was only a sophomore at the time. But what's that tell you about Coach Mason and the coaching? He says, hey, I have a kid that's special here, and I'll say it right now, he's probably going to be Casey O'Boyle's game night player of the year. I got to give Casey some love. I laughed in the second and third round of the season, a couple of weeks, Jeff, we were into it, where Casey said he's going to be the player of the year. No disrespect to Laban, but I kind of laughed a little bit. Now I got to, eat more crow and buy more chicken wings for Casey. But I'll tell you what, man, 6'1", 205. He reminds me of a kid. I went down into the semi-state game. It was Adams Central and Pioneer about 3 or 4 years ago, you guys. And playing for Pioneer, Pioneer was a 1A team. Playing for Pioneer was Jack Kaiser. He was 6'2", about 215, played quarterback. And Jack Kaiser just dominated the game because he was just a superior athlete. That's what Laban Davis reminds me of. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe the numbers. I had to do a double check. 52 total touchdowns, Jake. I mean, he's got, 20 touchdowns passing, 32 rushing. I mean, just huge numbers. So he's probably going to be the Northeast Indiana game night player of the year. He is the best player ever to play for Eastside. and this is the biggest game that Eastside has ever played.
It absolutely is, and this will be a time for him to showcase all that talent. And, this guy isn't a human joystick, but he's tough to bring down. I think your comment earlier when we talked this week, Joe, about him being a patient runner is phenomenal. He's very, very tough to tackle. And you get him in the open field, these Andrean defensive backs and linebackers are going to have to stay with him. And my big key here is what I'd call like a Y factor, is your running back, Dax Holman.
Oh, he's awesome.
He is a complete unit, a big-bodied back, and what I love that they do with him is they'll bring him out of the backfield on a lot of slim rocket motion, and they either use him, which you love, they'll wham down on the run blocking, or they'll swing past him on that rocket motion, and he's really, really mobile when he gets into open space.
And, Jeff, I think that's the key. When I watched Eastside against Eastbrook was huge for a 2A team. But what Eastside did is we hear so much of the greatness of Laban Davis, and he's a fantastic player. But I'm telling you, these two wingbacks, number 44, Gavin Wallace, 6'1", 205, the senior, and then the senior, Kyler Bibby. I think Kyler Bibby could be their best overall player, 6'1", 190, and they're so creative with the wingback. Sometimes they'll go double wingback on a short side, but they hurt Eastbrook when they move the wingbacks around. And the versatility of the fullback, Dax Holman, and Jake loved him. Jake identified him on the tape, 6.5 yards a carry, 14 touchdowns. If I'm Andrean, they're going to roll in here tonight playing a 3-4. I know you got a Notre Dame recruit at linebacker, and to play a 3-4, you got to be awesome at linebacker, and Andrean is. But I'm telling you, I think the most underrated part of Eastside is the two wingbacks and the Holman, their ability to get physical. And then when you match it up, Jeff, with that right guard, Dane Siebert, who's 6'4", 285, and Fuentes, who's 6'4", 250, the senior, you can go power right, and that's how they beat Eastbrook, in my opinion, in the regional, Jeff.
We had a chance to interview Kyler Bibby earlier this year. He said, I knew in kindergarten that Laban Davis was going to be a great player.
Wow.
And that's what it is, I'm driving through Butler, Indiana, and number one, hats off to this town. It is green and gold everywhere. They got all of the markings on the windows of the businesses.
You feel
saying, go Blazers, go. Let's go Eastside. Let's win this semi-state. I'm driving by the Eastside Elementary School, and they got 4 football fields. I'm loving them. Like, am I in football heaven?
Yes.
They got 4 football fields at the elementary school, so this is a beautiful thing. But I like that you guys are mentioning Dax Holman because he really jumped out to me on tape too. His ability to block for Davis in the open field, he holds on to those blocks and he doesn't stop until the whistle blows. So it kind of speaks to how these guys kind of always playing for each other. But, I'm talking to the Andrean coaches, and they say we're really impressed with Dax Holman as a linebacker. And they said Dax Holman kind of reminds us of Drake Bowen. That's right, Drake Bowen, who's going to Notre Dame, because Dax Holman is extremely instinctive at linebacker. It's just like he was born to play the position. Holman was all conference this year. He goes 6 foot, 210 pounds with 80 tackles and 11 tackles for a loss to lead the Blazers. Throw in 3.5 sacks and a pass defended. So absolutely, Joe, I love what this Eastside team has brought this year. And Laban Davis, he has that ability to get skinny. We've talked about that a lot. In traffic, he can get skinny to work his way through traffic, and one hit is not going to bring him down. How many times have I seen him slip tackles, and he's always falling forward for positive yards?
Absolutely, and it's what Jake says. If you can get a couple of linemen and a couple of big wingbacks on a defensive end, a linebacker, you can wham down. When you have a kid at quarterback who really, to me, Laban Davis is a running back, and he has such a good feel, and he's so patient, Jake. And I thought with the tape, I was really impressed with his just football IQ, knowing what he has in a fullback, knowing what he has in his wingbacks, and his patience to set blocks up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. And it's when I was asked to come and support you guys on this one for one more ride, man, I tell you what, I was very, very excited because we've got a couple of things that I love. A, we're going to have pistol offense, so I'm very excited about that. And B, here's my sleeper cell. So I want to touch on this real quick. In my film study this week, I want to talk about Andrean's kicker, Nico Tovar. So this guy ends up in a monster game, a monster performance with a Ballantine throw to Clax. Clax with 12 seconds to go. This is against Hobart in a big upset, 4A Hobart. takes the ball, runs down the field, dives out of bounds to the sideline to stop the clock with 12 seconds. Tovar goes 4 for 4 on extra points and destroys a 44-yard game winner. Absolute unit. What a beast. So, Tovar, if you're listening, pal, get that leg warmed up because it's happening tonight.
That's outstanding. Now, on the other side, Ballantyne, looking at him at quarterback, you say, man, he's got negative 49 yards rushing on the season. What's up with that? That is a good thing, guys, because he stays in the pocket. He's very patient. He's going to let his guys get downfield and get open. And you know who loves that more than anybody? The skill position players. And that's why they've got wide receivers with 57 receptions, 42 receptions, and 44 receptions on the season. And that's just their top 3 receivers. They got 2 more receivers on the roster with 15 and 17. Kind of reminds me of a quarterback that played at Westfield, then at the University of St. Francis, Nick Ferrer. And by the way, he won 2 national championships, was an NAIA Football Player of the Year because of things like that. Nick would have negative yards rushing. Who cares? He's a quarterback. He would get it to his guys. So Ferrer was awesome, and I see that with Ballantyne. And I got to tell you, I guarantee you these wide receivers for Andrean love it.
Yeah, they do, and it's what Jake says. Always know your style as a quarterback. Are you a pure pocket passer? Do you climb the pocket? Do you slide step? Or are you like Laban Davis, where you're more of a running back, where you really want to drive downfield and drop your pads and run the ball? But you're right, Jeff. And when you have a quarterback who hangs in the pocket, I always believe that, like the wide receivers, they'll finish that route a little bit more. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe those breaks will be a little bit sharper because you always feel like that ball could come your way. But that's what I like most about Andrean. I mean, you can come out as Andrean with a short, controlled passing game. You can attack passing, but then you have the Notre Dame recruit in the backfield. So I think Andrean has such great diversification with their offense. And it's interesting because we were stunned the way with Jeff's interview with Coach Skinner, they had to, break down and come up with a whole new offensive line this year. That is really impressive.
That's incredible.
And then we were talking to one of their coaches before the game who said, hey, we've had different line combinations every week. That's incredible to me because I think the biggest thing with offensive football, Jake and Jeff, is the continuity, man, of the offensive line. So you got skilled positions, but, man, when you got different numbers on the offensive line every week, you guys, the ability to come together and play, man.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's the hardest group to get, on the same page on the football team. And it's funny you say that, Joe, because we had one of the coaches come up to the press box before the game, and he says, oh, yeah, that's not right anymore. This guy's out, and we moved the center, Gonzalez.
We flipped the whole line. You're right.
The right guard, Gonzalez, goes to center. The right tackle, Copen, goes to right guard. Yeah. And, Brad Ozubel is going to start at right tackle.
And that coach, and it's funny you mentioned that because that coach, like coach's offensive line, he's like, oh, yeah, we switched things up. I mean, I would have been like, if I was the coach, Jeff, I would have been like, oh, my gosh, we're going to switch our offensive line before the semi-state game. And he was so nonchalant about it, Jake. He was just like, we got this, man. We'll just move some pieces around. But I think that's where Jeff always talks about, with Jeff's background with Dwanger, when you have like some of these parochial programs like Andrean, the way they can just plug the pieces in, Jake, and continue on is really impressive.
It very much is, and it just shows the type of coaching that you're going to see out here all the way down to the assistants. And you talk to any good head coach, and they're going to praise their assistants, and obviously we met some good ones tonight. And, going back to the quarterbacks for a quick second, if I'm kind of making like a pro scout, it's almost like we've got Laban Davis as Cam Newton going against somebody like Scott Ballantyne as a Mac Jones, you know what I mean? And,
totally.
And they both have their own way of doing things. They have their own offensive schemes. With this pistol that they've got, Andrean going to show more of a spread. You're going to see a little bit more power on the Eastside side of the football, and it's going to be great to see it. What do you guys think about these defenses?
I'll tell you what, Jeff, I think that's the matchup of the night. Andrean wants to play a 3-4. Now, I get it because Jeff loves Damari Wright, the senior number 4 at the right defensive end. And as Jeff highlighted, 58 tackles, 13 tackles for a loss. So Damari Wright is a wrecker at that defensive end position. Dom Totola comes in, plays defensive line for his first year, 14 tackles for a loss. So Andrean's strong up front. But I think the key to this game is with that 3-4. Now, Jake, you identified it. When they kind of show a 3-4 pre-snap, then they want to bring those outside backers up maybe into a 5-2 when the ball snapped, which I expect them to do that. But I think the matchup tonight, Jeff Mahoney, is those Andrean backers, Kawasaki, Bowen, Bastardo, Stevens, I want to talk about him real quick for a second. Only a sophomore. Got that Jeff Mahoney scout eye on him. Jeff said, check out number 2 on the film. 78 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss. He's going to be awesome. But I think those 4 backers for Andrean matched up with what Eastside does with Wallace, Bibby, and Holman. I think that's your matchup tonight, Jeff, as far as what's going to decide this football game.
Yeah, and on the other side, with Eastside, I really like what they've been doing with Dane Siebert. Okay, Siebert is their starting right guard, and he's only a sophomore at 6'4", 285 pounds. He plays right next to Isaiah Fuentes, who's a senior at 6'4", 250. A lot of the NEIA schools are very high on Fuentes. They love him at right tackle, but what they've been doing is they've been putting number 77 Siebert at defensive tackle, and he can absolutely maul. He can plug things up. And the defensive backfield is strong. Carson Jacobs, they had him playing against Brody Glenn. You guys know Brody Glenn,
yes.
right?
Yeah, he were really pleased with his tape, how Carson held up, and really for the most part, took Brody Glenn out of the game, didn't he, Jeff?
He absolutely took Brody Glenn out of the game, and they really had Lures stymied, and nobody saw that one coming over there at Lures Field. The year before it was a shootout, and then this past time around, just 2 weeks ago, Eastside held Bishop Lures to 16 points. Who would have thought it?
No, not at all. Not with the way Lures is so diverse with the offense. But you're right. They were able to have Carson Jacobs one-on-one with Brody Glenn, which I would have thought that would be a mismatch for Lures, but it wasn't. It was a mismatch in favor of Eastside, and they play a 4-3. And as tough as Wallace is at the wingback, Wallace is a force at the defensive end position. And then I like their backers again. Obviously, Jeff talked about all the tackles that Holman's made, but I'm telling you, I really like Kyler Bibby. There's some kids that just are instinctive and can play football. That's Bibby. And then on the way in, I had a little chat with the other outside backer, Dakota Reed. His mother offered me some chicken, so he's going to get some love tonight. But Dakota's only a junior, Jeff. I love my chicken. 6 feet, 200 pounds. Listen to these stats on Dakota. 81 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks. So when you look at these backers overall, you've got 223 combined tackles out of your linebackers. That is awesome. If I'm playing a 4-3 and I got 220 tackles out of my linebackers, that's what I'm talking about, boys. Now we're scraping, we're reading, we're running into the football. I am so fired up. So I think Jeff makes a good point. And then I also, another name to keep in mind, I like that safety Briar Muncie. I like Muncie. Muncie showed up on tape big time last week, but I think for Eastside, anytime you have backers that are that active, you've got a chance defensively.
You absolutely do. And one thing that I noticed in some film review this week is very good pass coverage from both of these squads. They're quick to the ball. They cover a lot of space really quickly, especially going back to Andrean defensively for a second. We'll talk about a kid named Jaden Marsh here in a second, but when you look at their defensive ends and the way that they send them on that 3-man front, and like we said, they will show that as a 5-man front with their outside backers coming in. Think about the NFL draft this last year and these exotic, the new age edge rusher, more of an outside linebacker defensive end combo. That's what they want. And you go through some of these teams that drafted this year. You had Jalen Phillips go to Miami, Kawiti Pay to Indianapolis, Gregory Rousseau to Buffalo, and Oway to Baltimore. And you look at these guys like Marsh, Gonzalez, and Wright, and they have speed. They have quick feet. They're nimble. They have a huge bend when they get penetration in the backfield, and they wrap up tackles low. I think that's obviously the deeper you get into the playoffs, the faster the game becomes, as it is with anything, but there is going to be some athleticism and speed out here defensively tonight.
Well, and talking about athleticism and speed, that's what Damari Wright is as a senior defensive end at 6'3", 215 pounds. For Andrean. His first 2 years, he was a safety. He played as a freshman and sophomore, a safety at Andrean. Then when he was an outside backer last year. So that's exactly what you just got done talking about there, Jake Smith, is that at your defensive end position, especially against a quarterback who ranks number 2 in the state with 2,152 rushing yards, averaging 8.2 yards per carry, you need a guy that can hold that contain, that's agile enough, like a basketball player, to move his feet and keep the offensive guy in front of him. That's what Damari Wright does, and that's also kind of what I saw there and what I liked in number 2, Trey Stevens, the sophomore.
Yeah, I think that's their strongest side of their defense. I totally agree. I think it's amazing that Wright makes the transition from a defensive back all the way up to defensive end. That's unbelievable. And he carries that 220 on tape so well. And he has that flexibility that you talk about, Jake, and that wiggle from the edge. And him matched up with Trey Stevens. I really like Stevens, too, the sophomore. I think Wright, Stevens, and then Bastardo in the middle. That's quite a triangle on that right side of defense. I really like Bastardo. 6'1", 200 pounds, 75 tackles from him. And, we talked about all the tackles for Eastside. When you look at all the tackles from those 4 backers over on the other side of the ball for Andrean, you're looking at about 290 tackles over there. So, man, Jeff's an old linebacker from Dwanger. These are the games Jeff loves because Jeff knows his linebackers and knows his linebacker play. But when you look at Kyler Bibby for Eastside, Dax Holman for Eastside, Dakota Reed, Andrean's got Trey Stevens, Eddie Bastardo, Drake Bowen, and Joe Kalasecki. Wow, man, you talk about some dogs that are ready to play some ball out here, Jeff Mahoney.
Yeah, and Coach Todd Mason loves his linebackers. Kind of the heart of his defense is what he was saying. Lobb is an all-conference player. So is Bobby Davis, the lineman at 5'7", 190, leads the team with 6.5 sacks and 2 fumble recoveries. So, guys, we've got to take a quick break here to get some of our IHSAA commercials in. But when we get back, we're going to hear from P.J. Dean. That's right, P.J. Dean, who held the record here at Eastside, but then had that broken earlier this year by this amazing quarterback, Laban Davis. So we'll be right back, folks, here in 2 seconds, because you are watching Indiana High School football here on the IHSAA Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA. This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome back, everybody. We're in Butler, Indiana for the Class 2A football semi-state championship between Andrean, the Fighting 59ers, and the Eastside Blazers. And as I was mentioning right before that break, P.J. Dean set the school record for rushing here at Eastside in 2014 with 1,529 yards rushing. PJ went on to the University of St. Francis, where he won 2 national championships there. When PJ was a freshman, we went down to Indy, and he broke off a 36-yard touchdown run that absolutely helped get St. Francis back into that game before the Cougars ended up winning it against the Marion Knights. And I got another story about Marion coming up here in a second. But Laban Davis absolutely is torching that school record. As mentioned earlier, Davis now with 2,152 yards. He broke Dean's record in the first round of the playoffs against Bluffton. Also in that Bluffton game, the corner, Dylan Bredemeyer, number 1, the senior at 6'1", 170, had 3 interceptions. Now, just real quick, guys, I want to go back to Marian University because, you see, back in 1997, okay, it was Ted Karras Jr. who led Andrean to their first ever state championship game. Many years later, call it 10 years later, Ted Karras Jr. goes to Indianapolis and starts the Marian program in 2007 and then wins an NAIA national championship in 2012. So just to kind of give you a little bit of history there, but, you know, Andrean, this is a very, very proud program, and this is a great group of seniors over here at Eastside, and I'm telling you what, they're not going to lay down in this game. This is going to be one heck of a dogfight.
Absolutely, and those are great roots when you talk about the history of coaches kind of starting one place and going another place. And can you imagine establishing a college program and planting your flag like that with Coach Karras? That's so impressive. But it's funny, you know, I always thought of P.J. Dean as the best football player coming out of Eastside, Jeff, you know. But when you look at it with Laban Davis.
Well, he was the real deal. He came in as a true freshman and could run with the best players in all of the NAIA.
And that's really impressive because St. Francis, when I go out and watch, you know, St. Francis, I always think, okay, I understand the offensive lineman kind of being NAIA, but I always pick guys out. I'm like, he could have played at UC. He could have played. He could have played. I mean, there's not that much difference anymore with some of the D1 programs in the NAIA. So, you know, it's just can't make it up, man. You know, I tell you what, you just can't. You know, sometimes these guys follow me around, but the point is with Laban Davis, just not only the numbers but the leadership, Jake. You know, and speak to. You go out there and here these guys have played youth football together, middle school football, high school. They played their whole lives with Laban Davis. There's got to be a certain comfort when you look out there and you're like, yeah, man, we got our dog. We got our Laban Davis. And I played for Southside. We used to get on the buses because all of our games were always away. We played at Wayne. But I used to always get on the bus. And we had a guy by the name of David James. He was a year older than me. When he got on the bus, I was always like, yeah, we got a chance, man, because he was a bad, bad boy. And that's how you have to feel if you're Eastside, to come out to go to war with a player so decorated in the history of Laban Davis. You got to feel like you always have a chance and you can win the big games.
Yeah, Laban's just such a stud, and you're absolutely right. And coaching the youth football like we do, you see those upcoming stars early, and you can kind of pick out and dissect some of those kids and what they're going to be. And it's kind of like over in Columbia City with Greg Bolton, how he came up through the ranks, and a small community like Butler. Columbia City, Cherubusco, you name it, all these teams that are out in the counties all over, you know, northeast Indiana and out in the region. It's incredible to just have that type of a legacy. And just like Jeff had said earlier, when you come into town and you just see the way the town is lit up, and this right here is the only thing happening in Butler, Indiana tonight. There is not another thing going on, and it's because of a guy like Laban Davis. He's putting this little town on his back tonight. It's incredible to see.
And you have to wonder, too, with the way these guys have played together over the years, what is that worth in a game like this? I mean, just to know that you've been in the trenches together, Jeff. I mean, Jeff, you played in that. I mean, you came up to the CYO. You guys played together. That's where I was always frustrated at South. I felt like Dwanger and Lures had an advantage because Jeff and these guys, they played football together since they were like in 5th grade. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a tremendous advantage. But, Jeff, speak of that. What's that mean when you just have played that many years with the guys and you're so familiar with each other?
Well, you know each other's tendencies, and that's what you see out there on the field when you see Laban Davis get to that 2nd, 3rd level, and there's Dax Holman out in front, or there is Bibby out in front blocking for him. They almost know where Laban wants to go, so they're going to position to get that block to free him the way he wants. And you know what? I asked P.J. Dean that same question. This is exactly what he had to say. P.J. said, they have a strong brotherhood. They all played youth football together. I used to ref a lot of games for these kids, and they are a squad that will go to war for each other without thinking twice. With Laban's arm and IQ, they are in good hands. He's a great leader. They will have a challenge, but with him and the other leaders on the team, we'll make sure the Blazers are ready. And I like Dax Holman. He runs hard. His clutch touchdown versus Lures was just what they needed. He delivered. And I'm favorable to running backs, as you know, because PJ was such a great running back.
PJ ran with an attitude, didn't he?
Dex has the power and reads the holes very well. Solid player, and I like Johnny Eck. He is very Jesse Eck-like. Build, speed, agility, defensive IQ, but he also adds sauce to his own game. He's a natural. I haven't been able to make it to a game this season, but PJ is planning on making it tonight. You know, PJ is making his own way in the business world now, selling cars at Acura. So PJ's doing a great job, and everybody loves PJ. Everybody at St. Francis loved him, and
he was a winner, man.
He's just a great kid. He used to always come by my office, and we used to chop it up a little bit. But PJ could run the rock, man. That kid was awesome.
Yeah, just that Eastside toughness, Jake. You know, you talked about PJ. PJ was known for running between the tackles, and that's why he likes Holman so much. And I tell you what, I think Holman could be one of the most underrated players. And if you had an up-and-coming, you know, if you said, Joe, who's the up-and-coming players in the junior class, I would name Holman right away. I mean, 6 feet 210. To me, he's kind of a throwback fullback. You know, he not only does he run hard between the tackles, he's such a good blocker, and he's so aggressive. I mean, you talk about 134 carries, 6.5 yards per carry, and really he gets the tough yards that opens things up for Laban Davis. And then the ability, Jake, to go on the other side of the ball and to make 80 tackles at the inside linebacker position. And you know, Jake, when those inside backers, it's awesome to play the outside because you got the alley, but the inside, you really got to be able to read and react and make those plays. So, I mean, I think, Jake, for us, Holman was the one that really jumped off the tape for us.
Yeah, he absolutely did, and it's funny that you said that with the inside backer position. Watching some film this week, watching them play against Churubusco, and I've got some friends coaching over there, obviously. They're such a disciplined unit, and he's one of those guys. So there was a play where Busco out of the wing T ran this double reverse. It was a very trick play. I think in most situations they would have blown it up to the outside, and he was able to shift parallel to the line inside out and shut that trick play down, and it speaks a lot to them being gap sound at the linebacker position, playing quick to the ball, and being sound in fundamental football and situational as well, as you like to say.
Yeah, and also, Jeff, how about the confidence of Eastside? Okay, you beat a good Central Noble team, which I thought was a good Central Noble team this year. Then you slay Lures. Nobody thought you were going to win that game. You get on the buses, you bark all the way down, you pound your chest, and you beat Lures at Lures Field. Then you come back, and the team that's supposed to be number one with the best offense, you handle Eastbrook. So that confidence level for Eastside has to be sky high, because also you get that attitude where a lot of people don't think you're going to win games. It's got to bring you closer together as the playoff games get bigger.
Yeah, and the thing is, with that confidence, you know, it takes strong leadership, and that's exactly what Eastside has in Coach Todd Mason, who's in his 5th year at the school. 45-14 record since he's taken over the Blazers program. You know, and PJ even talked about Coach Mason. He said, you know, the Blazers have an incredible coaching staff in Todd Mason and his staff, who has done a phenomenal job. They know what they need to do tomorrow. And also, PJ went on to say, backed by our lovely and loyal fan base who cheers the loudest around, the Blazers are going to be locked in and ready to go, because this crowd, Joe, it's about an hour and a half before game time, and there's a crowd that's lined up halfway down the baseball stadium. This place has been packed since about 7 o'clock, ready to cheer on the Blazers here. And looking over to Andrean's side right now, I know it's still a half hour until kickoff, but we got about 30, 40 people in the stands, so this place is going to be rocking for the green and gold.
Yeah, and if you're Andrean, you got to hurry up and get off that toll road and get down here for this game, right? But you're right, it was rocking. Tommy and I walked up, and we smelled the barbecue chicken, and Tommy had to coax me up to the press box because I met Dakota Reed's mom, and they were offering me chicken. I thought, man, this would be a great place to tailgate and hang out. But you're right. But I want to get back to Coach Mason quickly. What I like so much about Coach Todd Mason is the scheme, offense and defense. You know, it's one thing to come out and have players, but when you watch Eastside's tape and you look over their years' work, and even the last couple of years with Coach Mason, it just seems like guys are playing in the right position. They have the right scheme with the offense. I like the 4-3 on the defense, Jake. So I feel like with Coach Mason, he understands the pieces that he has, and he really game plans around those pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And doesn't it feel like some of these teams that you see just take on the identity of their community, and especially smaller schools like this, it's like this is a hard hat, lunch pail, go to work community up here. Railroad tracks right behind us, and that coach takes that same mentality that he preaches to his players, and that's why you've got these two-way guys that will literally play their guts out this entire game both ways for a guy like that, and somebody like that coach that is going to give his assistants the praise that they deserve. And you guys know that as well as anybody, man. If you don't have good assistants, you have nothing, and you've got to trust those pieces. And both of these teams have great assistant and head coaching, and you're going to see that on the field tonight.
And I'm telling you what, over on the other side, Andrean's coach, Chris Skinner, he's at his 6th year at the school, 54 wins, 21 losses. He's an alum of Andrean. As a matter of fact, that whole staff said they played together, in the early 2000s. But Coach Skinner, man, talking football with this guy, I felt like, if we were to get together for dinner or for some chicken wings, Joe, we'd be talking football for probably 8 hours.
Passion.
So much fun, talking. I was talking to him about his coach, Ballantyne. He says, when Ballantyne gets sacked, they record that as negative yardage. Some of the schools, on Max Preps, they don't do that.
Yeah.
That is the right way of doing it. And that's why you see those numbers from Coach Ballantyne. But, man, he says, Sky has pretty good pocket awareness.
Yes.
He does not look to run at all initially, not even when the pocket collapses. He tries to squeak out and stay behind the line of scrimmage and try to find the open man downfield. And I had to ask him, I said, is he more like Tom Brady or is he more like Pat Mahomes? Pat Mahomes can run, chooses not to as much as he can, but Scott says Scott doesn't do that. He said, I guess he's more like Tom Brady-esque pocket passer and a distributor. And I'm telling you guys right now, the skill position players absolutely love that.
Yeah, they do. And I think that's really key tonight for them, because when you watch the tape, as Jeff says, you don't see this huge arm. You see a good arm, but he's only a sophomore. I mean, he's only 180 pounds, so as he grows and develops, that arm's going to get stronger. But I agree. I think the biggest thing I'm most impressed with him, and from playing the position, there was times I had a hard time not speeding up the way I played because the rush was so fierce. And that's what Ballantyne does so good, because you get in that pocket and you're taught to slide step up, slide step to the side. At times I struggled because I played in the old run and shoot, and they would blitz me everywhere, and I found myself playing faster and faster. And Ballantyne doesn't do that. He plays within himself, doesn't get sped up playing, and does a nice job of always keeping his eyes down the field. And I agree with Jeff. I think if you're a wide receiver, you always feel like you got a chance to get a ball.
Yeah, it's neat because you've got two quarterbacks here that are playing years ahead of where they should be in a mentality standpoint, and they both have even more room to develop, even though that they are two stud athletes. And the thing with Ballantyne, he doesn't try to be something he's not. He understands he's maybe not a mobile threat, and that's okay. He uses his playmakers to his advantage, and they both have those little caveats like we talk about. Every week we're talking about the quarterback play, and I'll tell you, from Ballantyne, it is that slide step forward into the side like you speak of, and with Laban Davis, watch the way on the zone reads coming out of that pistol that he rides Holman's hip. He will literally ride that hip 5-8 yards out wide and stretch, and then when they crash down, he'll pull it clear outside. And those little caveats that you're looking for in your quarterback play is going to be very, very critical as this game goes on.
I totally agree, and that's a great observation, Jeff. Just those little intricacies, just those little things you see in games, Jeff, make all the difference. Talk about small things, small adjustments, or little small things that kids do, but a lot of times those make the difference in big games.
Now I'll tell you guys what, in 2018, I was out in Sioux City, Iowa for a football game. Okay, it was a semifinal game. It was St. Francis at Morningside. And St. Francis coming off back-to-back national championships. We snuck into the playoffs that year, but we got everybody healthy as the playoffs started, right? So it's the end of the game. We go down and score. A PAT ties it, or a two-point conversion wins it. We opted for the PAT, ended up losing in overtime, okay? Morningside at that point had a All-American quarterback on their side. We had a first-year quarterback on our side after graduating Farrer. And, in hindsight, the great Kevin Donnelly says, you know what, you always go with the experienced quarterback in an overtime situation. So he said, I should have went for the 2.
Yes.
So and if this game is tight, that's one thing you guys got to keep into consideration here, is that Laban Davis has been the head man of this Eastside team. This is his 3rd year. His sophomore year, they lost to Eastbrook 42-9. That was back in 2019. That would have been the school's first regional championship, okay? They got 2 sectional championships, and Laban Davis brought both of them to the Blazers. Now, going back over to Andrean, last year, Joe Simino was their quarterback. Their running back was Ryan Walsh, who ran for over 4,000 yards in his career, and they had one of the most versatile players in the whole region in Nikki Flesher at wide receiver. So not to say that they're not experienced, because the statistics would prove otherwise. And like you said, they won that tight game against Hobart, and that's a Hobart team that played for a state championship a year ago. But in a tight situation, you might like the Blazers and Laban Davis in this game.
I agree, and what I like about the Blazers and Eastside is their linebackers and their ability to blitz tonight. Now, we know Andrean has had to reshuffle their offensive line. We kind of laughed about it all season long. And if you notice on the scouting report for Andrean, if you watch the tape, they've got a linebacker, Eddie Bastardo, who's basically in there to block at tight end. Eddie's not going to go out. He's only caught 8 passes this year. Eddie is basically in there for max protect when they want to throw the ball. So you've got 5 offensive linemen, but what Coach Skinner does to protect the offensive line, he's going to leave a tight end, 6'1", 200 pounds, Eddie Bastardo, to kind of max protect. So now if I'm Eastside and I see that, I can move a linebacker over Eddie Bastardo, and I can blitz that backer or maybe try to overrun that side of the line, because I know Bastardo's not going to go out for a pass. I have Carson Jacobs, who we talked about, who shut down Brody Glenn. Carson Jacobs, if I'm Eastside, he gets the assignment against Clax. I say, I love you, baby. You're on one-on-one tonight, okay? And then what I want to do with Bibby and Reed is I want to blitz and put some pressure, Jeff, on this offensive line. Andrean is loaded. Their weak point on their team, in my opinion, watching the tape and breaking the tapes down, is the offensive line. And we've already had another shift with the line assignments, the starting assignments tonight. So I agree. If I'm Eastside with my defense, I come out in my 4-3 base, but you're going to see some 5-man fronts. You're going to see me blitzing my outside backers. You may even see a little 46 tonight if I'm Eastside. I'm going to mix it up, but I want to get to that quarterback. And if I'm Eastside, I respect Scott Ballantyne because he's accurate and a good decision maker, but I'm extremely happy he's not a runner, okay? So that gives me the ability with my linebackers to get even more aggressive, because I don't have to worry so much about Ballantyne breaking contain in the pocket. I can blitz up the middle. I can blitz off the edge, but I can do a lot. But I'm sniffing, if I'm Eastside, I'm sniffing this offensive line, and I'm realizing they got a middle linebacker who's a brute in there at tight end just to block, max protect. So if I'm Eastside, Jake, I feel like that's something that I can do with my different blitz packages.
Yeah, you're totally right about that, Joe, and that's a great point you make. You know, you've got an Eddie Bastardo who's more like a Darren Fells type player. He's out there to block, not run routes, and that's totally fine. But you are going to see that from Eastside. What kind of exotic defensive looks can they show and really get some pressure on the quarterback, especially from the blind side?
Totally. I get Bibby and Reed, to me, are key. I know I can plant Holman, Jeff, in the middle of the field. He's going to give me 10 tackles tonight. But I've got Carson Jacobs. I can match up on Clax. I'd take Reed and Bibby, and I'm hyper-aggressive with my blitz packages. Now, I feel good about Billy Jones, Bredemeyer in the back end at one of the corners. So, with Muncie, Eek, and Bredemeyer, I feel pretty good in the back end with those matchups against Ballantyne and Paul. That's what I roll the dice. I go one-on-one with Carson Jacobs, and I'm hyper-aggressive with Bibby and Reed, and I'm showing all kinds of blitz packages, because what I want to do with Ballantyne, since he's not going to tuck the ball and run down the field, I want to speed him up, and I want to hit him after every single play.
You're absolutely right about that, Joe. I think the quarterback pressure is going to be key against them
Yes.
on that side of the ball, as you're not looking at somebody more mobile like a Laban Davis. You're going to have to get exotic with those looks. And I think from both sides, we're going to see whose pass defense can be put to the test. On tape, they're both fast, they're quick to the ball, and they cover a lot of space. How is that going to work, especially when you've got Valentine running that pistol spread, and they show a lot of 3-by-1 looks, a lot of trips out there. When you've got guys like Clax and his older brother outside, he can put the ball down the field quickly. So you've got to get that pressure like you talked about, Joe, or he's going to just dice you apart.
And if I'm Andrean, Jeff, quickly, if I'm Andrean with the Andrean defense, I am very, very careful with this 3-4. Now, you guys know I don't like a 3-4 defense. I don't mind it so night with Andrean because Andrean's so awesome at backer. But I am very, very careful with this 3-4 because when I watched the tape, the difference in the regional game last week was a minute and a half before halftime. We talked about this. Eastbrook thought that Eastside might throw the ball a little bit. They got in a 3-man front and played kind of a prevent shell. And Eastside and Coach Mason did a heck of a job sniffing it out. They took the 2 wingbacks, Bibby and Wallace, went power right, moved the wide receiver on that side to the slot, and put Holman on the right side, went power right with the 2 wings, and ran to the short side. The ball was at the 40-yard line. It was a 3-play drive, 60 yards, touchdown. It was a 30-yard touchdown by Laban Davis. But to me, that made the game 13-0. That was the difference in the regional game, was how Coach Mason managed it before the half. But if I'm Andrean, I am really watching, if I'm the defensive coordinator with this 3-4, how Eastside moves their pieces around because Siebert, again, you have a huge young kid at right guard who's probably going to be a D1 kid when it's all said and done. You've got Fuentes that Jeff mentioned, all the NAI schools want, and you got Wallace and Bibby. You got to be careful with this 3-4 that with where Eastside can run the formations and out-formation you, Jeff Mahoney. So I love the backers, don't get me wrong. But if I'm Eastside, I'm careful, and maybe they will show that, Jake. Maybe it's a pre-snap 3-4, it rolls into a 5-2. But they have got to be careful with this 3-4 against the size that Eastside has with the formations.
Yeah, and Eastside will just suck you in, won't they, Joe?
Yes.
With those double wings right there.
Totally.
And then you know what they do? They send out Gavin Wallace, and he is the #1 target of Laban Davis. Wallace entering today with 26 receptions for 414 yards, averaging 15.9 yards per reception with 8 touchdowns. It's not that Eastside can't throw the ball. It's that Laban Davis is so good. And, Jake, what is it about Laban Davis and this Eastside team that they're able to break those big runs to the boundary? It's like they almost like playing in tight spaces.
Isn't it wild that every time, and you start teaching your kids at youth, and even going back to your youth ball days, Jeff Mahoney, you think the first thing that you teach fundamentally is like, hey, if the stretch side, if the play side of the field is wide, a lot of times you're going to run that way. So, hey, guys, keep your eyes that direction. And Eastside says, heck no. They will wham down with double wings and a fullback and run to the short side of the field, and they're good at it. They tightrope that sideline, and they almost use it to their advantage somehow.
And they caught Eastbrook in that. That's a great point. Because if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm thinking I want to get my end a little wide on the play side and be cognizant of that with my backers, and that's a great point. They'll run the 2 wings, Jeff, and they will block down so ferociously with the right guard and the right tackle. It totally blew Eastbrook away. Now, I would have burned the timeout when he lined up in it and got out of the 3-man front before the half. After it happened to me the first time, I would have burned the timeout, got out of the 3-man front. After it happened to me the third time, you know what I mean? It just didn't adjust. But it's the point we used to make with Leo, how Leo could score so fast with the run game. But I'm telling you, to me, as awesome as Davis is, the most underrated aspect of the East Side game is the wings, the way they move them around, the blocking of Holman. And I think Andrean's going to have to be very, very careful with that 3-4 tonight, guys.
And going back to, running to the boundary, the short side of the field, is that a good way, Jake Smith, of neutralizing an athletic backfield, a very athletic second and third level, when you just clog it up? Because I said earlier, and the tape certainly shows this, man, who's better than Laban Davis at running in a phone booth?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head right there, Jeff. So by doing that, you have these stud defensive backs over on the Andrean side. So you've grown up here with Eastside with these guys your whole life, and you've played side by side with them. And these guys are going to give every piece of blood, sweat, tears, and guts that they've got tonight. Laban Davis trusts where his blockers are going to be and that they're going to do their jobs, and they want to block selflessly for him. So you absolutely do. Why try to get out in space and let these athletic defensive ends just cut you to pieces? Phone booth football. Go to the short side of the field, hat to hat, and see if they can stop you punching them right in the mouth.
I agree, and if I'm Andrean, I would start with a 3-4, but I would quickly make the adjustment. What I would do if I was Andrean is I would take Trey Stevens, 5'11", 190, the sophomore, and I would move him down to the other defensive end with Damari Wright. At that point, I'm in a four-man front. Danny O'Shea, 32 tackles, 2 interceptions. The safety, very underrated. We were talking to the Andrean coaching staff. They say he never says a word. I don't think he has to say a word because his play on tape is so good. But 6'2", 200, O'Shea could come down and play that outside backer, and I think Andrean could roll into a nasty 4-4. So if I'm Coach Skinner, maybe I come out in the 3-4 because I've got the Notre Dame recruit Bowen. I've got just a street fighter in Bastardo at inside backer, but I'm very careful to be quick, maybe with an adjustment. And I think with Stevens, you have another athletic kid that can play the edge, kids that Jeff Mahoney loves, that you can move around as a piece.
Now, guys, the sideline Swami, he's been calling Laban Davis for Player of the Year since about week number 3 in the football season.
Don't remind me.
Let's take a listen here to the sideline Swami, and we'll be right back after this quick interview here. That's good enough for me, Casey. Moving on to 2A, Andrean, they're going to travel from the region to take on Eastside. Eastside's undefeated at 13-0, and the Blazers are coming off their first regional championship in school history, having beaten Eastbrook, a team they lost to in 2019 for a regional title, and that was Laban Davis's sophomore year.
Yeah, Laban Davis has had a tremendous career. We've talked a lot about, Jeff Becker at Carroll and Carson Clark at Lures. Laban Davis equally has been just such a mainstay at the quarterback position for the Eastside Blazers. He's going to be impossible to replace, needless to say. And he just does so much for that team. And I'm excited to see him in this contest against Andrean. Andrean's a really talented defensive team. Drake Bowen, of course, the 5-star linebacker who recently committed to Notre Dame, is a junior. Again, heavily recruited by Clemson and Alabama. I mean, everybody wanted this kid. He chose the Irish to stay close to home. I'm excited to get a peek at him against one of our local teams. He also runs the ball, does Drake Bowen. So they'll have to contain him on the other side of the ball. But I still think Eastside is a bit of a team of destiny. I don't think they're satisfied with last week's win or the big win 2 weeks ago against Bishop Lures. I think they know this is again, I hate to say it, a once-in-a-generation senior class, and you have a once-in-a-generation quarterback in Laban Davis. They want to make sure they go out with their best foot forward. I think playing this game at home is huge. I know you guys are going to be out there. I can't wait to watch it. And I'm taking Eastside by a touchdown.
Casey, talk about that. Laban Davis is just a true leader, and hats off to you because you pointed this out early. Obviously, last year, you really got accustomed to know what this kid's capable of. Then earlier this year, you were calling him possibly the MVP of the area, and it looks like he's definitely the Northeast Indiana Game Night Player of the Year. But Casey, he's rushed for over 2,000 yards this season. 2,152. The old record was held by P.J. Dean back in 2014, a great running back. Went on to have a fantastic career at St. Francis, winning national championships. P.J. had ran for, I believe, a season high. It was a little over 1,500 yards. But just speak about the maturation process of Laban Davis.
Oh, he's unbelievable talent. I mean, the fact that he doesn't have more offers, maybe he's not your prototypical passing quarterback, but what he does with his legs and his toughness and his leadership, there's certainly got to be some schools, whether it be a Grand Valley State or some MAC schools, that can find a way to get him on the field. If not at quarterback, maybe at safety, because he's a winner. And I love the fact that he's, he doesn't over promote himself, but yet he's engaging. He's, He'll play around a little bit on social media, but it's not all about me. He wants to win a state championship his senior year for his school, and he's that kind of kid. And I think Coach Mason will tell you he's a special talent. He's his numbers, speak for themselves. I mean, PJ set those marks as a running back. This is a quarterback that's setting rushing records. Oh, and by the way, he's thrown for 1,500 yards as well. So just a remarkable season, and to cap a remarkable career. I still feel like, let's go ahead, Eastside. You're right there. Go ahead and get one more. Get down to Lucas Oil, and let's see what things look like a week from now, the day after Thanksgiving or the weekend of Thanksgiving, and how cool would that be for that community to see the Blazers? I got to pull up my helmet again. I don't know how Laban's doing it. You want to pan back on me? I don't know how he's playing without his helmet. Look at this. Again, Coach Mason, I'm convinced, pulled this off the poor kid's head and said, hey, Swami's coming up. I need to give this helmet to him. And so Laban had to, probably grab a freshman's helmet or something. And I don't know how he does it, but I'll give it back to him at the end of the season. In the meantime, I'm holding on to that sucker. It's been a great ride for Eastside football. Let's cross our fingers that it's not over this week against a very, very talented Andrean squad, whom I think most people thought it was going to be that parochial matchup. Andrean and Bishop Luers appeared all year long to kind of be on that collision course. I think the people, including myself, assuming Luers had maybe just a little too much in terms of the speed and the athletes against an Eastside. But again, Eastside, what a win 2 weeks ago to hold Luers to only 3 points in 3 quarters and eventually hold on 21-16. And then last week against Eastbrook, kind of jumped out to an early lead and had to hold on late against the Panthers. To juxtapose your game plans defensively from an air attack like Bishop Luers had in the SAC, only 3 points going into the fourth quarter, and then keeping Eastbrook to 3 touchdowns in that prolific ground attack. Hats off to those coaches at Eastside. Got another tough one. Go get it done, Blazers.
Talking about Eastside and looking at the stats, it seems like if Laban Davis is having an off day on the ground, Dax Holman picks him up and vice versa. Dax Holman has been outstanding this year. He's only a junior. He was all conference as a linebacker. He also leads the team in tackles with 80 tackles and 11 tackles for a loss. Eastside had 11 guys make all conference, rightfully so, winning the conference title outright. Their 16th conference championship. Casey, there's a lot of guys getting it done on this team. This seems like a real tight-knit group.
For sure. And they've got a sophomore lineman, the Siebert kid, who Todd Mason told me just the other day, he may be their first Division I recruit, which is saying something because they've won a ton of football games here lately. He's a big, talented offensive lineman.
Is that
Dax
Dane
Holman,
Siebert?
Dane Siebert, yes. And Dax Holman, to your point, what a great player. I thought in the game last year against Bishop Luers, which the Knights won, I thought Dax Holman may have been the best player on the field for Eastside. He was so dominant, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And to your point, when people put a ton of emphasis on containing Laban Davis and making sure he doesn't rush for 200 plus yards, invariably Dax Holman picks up the slack and he'll put forth 150, 175 yard effort. And it's just enough to give that offense some balance in their running game. And they do just enough passing the ball too, especially with their 2 tight ends. Gavin Wallace is a tremendous target, deceptively good athlete. They've got some playmakers there. This may be one of those weeks we need to see some of those other guys step up and make a big play.
Yeah, and Casey, Siebert plays that right guard position. Isaiah Fuentes, who was all conference, is the senior offensive tackle, the right tackle at 6'4", 250. So you got 6'4", 250 and 6'4", 285. They got some beast on the O-line.
No doubt, especially for a small school. And, they went to Luers a couple of weeks ago, and that's where that game was won in the trenches. Make no mistake. And I think they took it personally that people were saying they weren't tough enough. They weren't physical enough. They don't play the SAC schedule. And the Blazers went out and got things done. And again, this feels like a team of destiny. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves because you know how this works. I mean, it's, you get deep into November, there are upsets, there are surprises, there are all kinds of things, but playing this thing at home, they've got all that momentum. They're not going to be intimidated by Andrean. And I'm excited to see, this matchup. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it comes down to the fourth quarter, and I think Eastside finds a way late.
Yeah, and Casey, when you look at Andrean, this is a program that's got a rich history. They got 9 regional championships under their belt, 6 semi-states, and 2 state championships. So it's just a program that keeps reloading every single year. They lost their last game of the regular season at Lowell, 17-7, which gave them a share of the conference title. But since then, they've outscored their opponents 156-16 in the playoffs. This is a team that's rolling. It almost seems like Andrean plays maybe a little bit of a tougher regular season schedule with the likes of Maryville on there, Lowell and Hobart, Munster, just some bigger teams. And Eastside's kind of played a tougher schedule in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I mean, Eastside's had certainly tough matchups these last couple of weeks. And to your point, Andrean plays some big boys up there in the region for sure. So they are battle tested, and that's why they typically come in with a few more losses in these kind of games late in the year, almost like the Bishop Lures. But again, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. I think most people outside of the Northeast Indiana area will be picking Andrean just because of tradition and because of Drake Bowen. But I just think, I like the Blazers to get the job done. I just think playing at home with Laban Davis, this is a team of destiny. As long as they take care of the ball and they finish drives, they shorten the game like they did against Bishop Lures 2 weeks ago. And they're going to have to convert in the red zone because that's when that defense from Andrean will really stiffen. So they're going to have to convert with, and it may be with some passes, which is not necessarily they're accustomed to. So to me, that'll be something to keep an eye on, but a great matchup. And I'm going with Eastside by score.
Welcome back, everybody. The bass is bumping here in Butler, Indiana. We'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching the IHSAA Champions Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, empowered by Summit City Sports. Welcome back, everybody. This is Jeff Mahoney with Summit City Sports. We have Joe Walburn and Jake Smith in the booth as the Eastside Blazers march onto the field. On camera, we have Pat Wright. Our referee for tonight is James Craig. The umpire is Chad Harshman. Head linesman is Mark Herberger. The line judge is Mark Stoltz. The back judge is Mark Metler. I'll tell you what, boys, the whole East Side community here in Butler, Indiana has come out, and they are rowdy. This place is rocking.
It is rocking. It was all green from I-69 to the stadium tonight, so you got to love it. Small community, biggest game in program history, the semi-state championship, quarterbacked by the greatest player in your program history, and it doesn't get any bigger. And Andrean counters with the Notre Dame recruit, Drake Bowen. So what a matchup. Two teams that are battle-tested and have worked their way through the playoffs, Jake.
Yeah, you got your Northeast Indiana, Northwest Indiana. We got some guys up here in the upper northeast counties against the region out here. Everything's hyped. The speakers are going. We got yellow towels everywhere. Andrean's about ready to take the field. They are getting hype in the end zone right now. The Fighting 59ers flying out. They are hype, guys. We're hype in the booth up here. This is going to be the best broadcast we've had of the season.
I love it, man, when they're led by those guys, Jeff, and they get a little dance and they come flying across the sideline looking nice and clean and at all white.
Yeah, Drake Bowen is jacked over there for the Fighting 59ers, and I'll tell you what, the Andrean folks did get off that toll road in time. Joe, they have packed their side of the stands as well, so we are ready to go here in Butler.
Yeah, great matchup here, and quickly a couple of updates. Our game's starting a little bit later. Westfield 13, Maryville nothing. So Westfield wanting to get back to that 6A championship game. And the second quarter, it was Center Grove 7-0 over Indianapolis Ben Davis. So a couple of early scores there in the 6A game. So, hey, tonight, man, if you can get through the semi-state, can you imagine getting down and playing that state championship game down there on Lucas Oil Field?
I'll tell you what, guys, for Eastside heading out to the center of the field, it's going to be number 10, Johnny Eck, the senior. And it looks like they're going to switch it up on me. We got number 62 for Eastside, Matt Jacobs, number 86, Kyler Bibby, and number 5, Laban Davis.
Yeah, just the heart of the team. I love, obviously, Laban Davis, Jake, the 52 touchdowns, their leader. But I tell you what, I really like Kyler Bibby and what he brings to the table.
Damari Wright and Bowen out there in the center of the field for Andrean. I'll tell you what, Wright, he is every bit of 6'3" out there walking out in the center. Listen to this crowd, boys. Let's pump it up a little bit here in Butler.
Think about the emotions playing together all the way through youth football. Jeff Mahoney, look at these teams coming out. Look at how excited they are. Think about the emotions of playing from youth football, middle school to high school, and here you are together as brothers playing in the semi-state championship game for both teams.
We had Eddie Bastardo out there and Jaden Marsh. You know, talking about Jaden Marsh, they did a great feature story on him. Got COVID, then got mono. His mom was diagnosed with cancer. Then he tore a bunch of ligaments in his ankle. Boys, Jaden Marsh has put together one heck of a season. Even after dropping 35 pounds, he still goes 6'4", 210 pounds, 51 tackles, 18 tackles for a loss, and 11 sacks. He's playing with the heart of a champion.
You absolutely love to see a kid like him play, and especially coming off of the weight loss that he had. He's working with a busted ankle right now, and he's still coming out. In Week 5 against Highland, he was Indiana Max Prep's Player of the Week. Talk about a turnaround for a kid like that.
Just the heart. And when you see a kid come out, play through the injuries, play through the hardships, Jeff Mahoney, the rest of the kids feed off that because he has the heart. And those 11 sacks have been really timely this year in a lot of big games.
Briar Muncie back deep to return at number 14 for Eastside. He's a junior at 5'8", 155 pounds. Folks, he's averaging 11 yards per return. And kicking it off here for the Andrean Fighting 59ers, we have Adam Tazek. He's a senior at 6'2", 175, 33 touchbacks on the season. How about that number?
That's impressive. And with that many touchbacks, you're winning on special teams. It's going to be so important tonight for either one of these teams to win on special teams.
Just moments away here from the start of this one in Butler, Indiana. And we are off the semi-state champion. That was Drake Bowen lined up right to the left of that kicker as that's going to roll through the back of the end zone. Chasing it down is number 32, Dakota Reed, the junior tight end linebacker for the Blazers.
And it's so important for a game like this, Jake Smith. Offense and defense, you want to get off to a good start with that first possession. Eastside would like nothing better than to impose their will early on with their run game.
You're absolutely right, and a great way to start kicking that ball at the back of the end zone. You don't give them momentum on special teams that way.
So got running backs on each side of Laban Davis to start this one. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. And Davis, this time he's met just beyond the line of scrimmage. Looks like a gain of about 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, and they had some success last week against Eastbrook with the split backs in the backfield. They like to run those split backs and run Laban off tackle, but that time Andrean does a nice job with those backers, and that's been the signature of the game for Andrean. Look at those backers right there, fill on that play. That's a beautiful play by that outside backer, Trey Stevens.
They bring up 2nd and 8 here for the Blazers at their own 22-yard line. Once again, Davis going to keep it himself, gets the edge. Stiff arm is pushed out after a gain of about 4 yards. Looks like we might have a late hit on the play.
Yeah, we'll check that on the Traction AP replay, but I like the play call with Eastside. They ran that to the short side that time, Jake. Wanted to get Davis on the edge. I thought that Andrean did a nice job with the pursuit, but I think Andrean, we'll see, I think it was just a little bit too aggressive with the helmet-to-helmet head, so that's what Davis brings you. Davis never gives the play. Watch Davis right here. See the cut right there? So he gets upfield, just right there. That hit right there late on the Traction AP replay at the end was helmet-to-helmet. So that's a big break, Jake, early on for Eastside with that 15 yards.
You're absolutely right. There was some great gap fill there defensively, so I think it's going to get hyped pretty fast.
That was number 7, Billy Jones, the cornerback there for the 59ers. Brings up 1st and 10 from the Eastside 41-yard line. They're going to give it off to Holman. Nowhere to run for Big Dax, as that might be a gain of about a yard on the play.
Looked like number 9, Dom Totola, just blew that play up that time, Jake. Dom Totola's playing his first year on the defensive line, so good push up front from Dom Totola, number 9 and wide out there to blow that play up.
They are very, very aggressive on that D-line.
Barstito, the middle linebacker, barely has any gold on his helmet from hitting hard. Bowden right next to him as the handoff goes to Holman one more time, trying to find that right edge. This time, that's going to be a loss or a gain of 0 on the play.
And that's a great job filling that play that time by number 26, Joe Kalachecki. Watch him on the outside backer on the replay. Eastside comes back with the big fullback. Watch Kalachecki. Watch him come up. See him right there? All over that play. Nice job. And so far, Andrean's holding up pretty good, Jake, with this Eastside run game.
They are all over it in the trenches right now. Quick to the football, just like we saw in the scout this week.
2 wide receivers up top. That's Braden Meyer along with Carson Jacobs here on 3rd and 7 from their own 44-yard line. Defensive line shift. Davis looking to his left. Has Holman, and what a grab!
Wow.
All the way down to the 31.
And that's really pretty good defense for Andrean. You make Eastside, Jake, do what they don't want to do, pass the ball. But talk about the greatness of Holman. Not only does he block, he also has soft hands.
Very great hands right there to run the seam route. They showed him out there with the split, dropped him out with that little bit of pre-snap rocket motion.
Nice.
A great strike by Laban Davis to him.
It's going to bring up 1st down and 10 from the Fighting 59ers. 31-yard line. Davis going to keep it himself to the left side spin, and he's got about a gain of about 2 yards on the play. Boy, you saw that nifty little spin move there to get 2 extra yards.
Yeah, if you watch it on the replay here, Andrean's in the right front. They have it overloaded. Eastside goes with number 86, Bibby, on the left, but watch the quarterback right there. You see how Davis just gets through there, just has a little bit of a wiggle, and works through that crease and gets some positive yards on a play really that shouldn't have gotten much.
He just slipped the tackle there. I thought that was Barstito, the middle linebacker. Either way, 2nd and 8 from the Fighting 59ers, 28-yard line, right through the hands of Davis. Picks it up off the hop. Ball still on the turf. Davis still on his feet. Brought down at the 50. That's going to be a loss of 21 yards on the play.
That's great job attacking by Andrean. That's just a busted snap. Eastside had one of those last week at the goal line against Eastbrook. Just poor timing. Watch the snap. Just Davis couldn't pull it in. But look how hard the Andrean dogs run. Look at them chase. Here they come. Run backside. That's a huge play for Andrean.
A big play indeed, and a great job by Davis to at least retain possession of the football regardless of what happens here.
Yeah, that was Gavin Wallace trailing on the play for Eastside. There's just nothing he could do to help out his quarterback. 3rd and 29 from the 50-yard line. Davis looking deep and flushed out of the pocket. Gets past 2 men. Throws across his body, has a guy at the sideline.
Oh.
That's incomplete. That was intended for Tanner Wicker.
Yeah, Wicker. I thought Wicker was going to climb the ladder and bring it down. It's a great job, Jake, by Davis to buy the time, but good defense for Andrean. They chase him out of the pocket and do a nice job on the back end to get the stop and to get off the field.
That defensive front coming out hungry the way that they have,
Yes.
gap filling and run stuff, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes as the game goes on.
4th and 29, and Davis is the punter for Eastside, so he'll step back, and a little pooch punt coming up. A nice punt by Davis as it goes out of bounds. That one looks like it crossed right around the 22. They're going to mark it at the 27.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit farther, but a little bit of a break for Andrean. Now, Eastside had a punt blocked last week. When they do that little pooch punt like that, I feel like Davis needs to back up and get a little more separation from the line of scrimmage. But Andrean wins the first drive with their defense. Now let's see the matchup here, Jake, with the Eastside defense against the Andrean offense.
And it looks like that might be Stevens in the backfield in the pistol alignment there right behind Ballantyne on 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Now offset right. Goes number 2, Stevens. It's Bowen in motion and fakes the handoff. Look at Ballantyne. Runs it right up the gut. Not known for his running, but he's over the 50, the 40, down to the 30, and pushed out at the 25-yard line. Wow! A gain of over 50 yards on the play.
We spend the whole pregame, Jake, talking about how he stays in the pocket, how he's a pure passer, and they beat us right from the beginning with the quarterback run.
That shows you the coaching right there. Just leading everybody to believe that this guy's not athletic enough to do the job, and what a pull, and he's off to the races. Just great field of vision, and I think he's a little more athletic than we gave him credit for, fellas.
Yeah, and that pull was key, Jeff. Did you see the left guard pull, come over, and get the down block to open the hole?
1st and 10 from the Blazers' 28-yard line. And now look at Andrean there. They're going to pull the strength from the right side of the offensive line to the left with Bowen, and that was number 28, his linebacker buddy, Bastardo.
Yeah, they wanted to go power to the left, and when they moved Bastardo, Eastside jumped off sides on that. So that's a break on 1st down for Andrean. Now let's see if Andrean can capitalize.
Bastardo now at the left wing here as it's 1st and 5 from the 23-yard line. Handoff goes to Stevens, and he's stuck right at the line. Bounces off the tackler and takes it to the 19. That's going to be close to about a yard gain on the play.
Yeah, check this out on the replay. Looks like Eastside's in the backfield. The initial hit is big. Looked like maybe that was Reed or Bibby on the initial hit on the replay. But watch how Stevens keeps moving. Look at the hit right there. Boom. Good back. Keeps his pads low and drives forward. So good-looking play for 4 yards on 1st down for Andrean.
Stevens out of the game here on 2nd and 1 from the 19-yard line. Bowen lined up directly behind Ballantyne. And they're going to hand it off to Bowen. Nice sidestep to the outside, but he's got nowhere to go as he's wrestled down. Lost the forward progress. Takes him to about the 21-yard line.
And that's what Eastside's so good at linebacker. But what Bowen has to do, Jake, he's got to plant his outside leg, drop his pads, and get upfield on that play. So watch this in the replay. Bowen gets the handoff, but look at the Eastside backers. Look at the read and react. See how he beats the block at the point of attack? Beautiful. But Bowen's got to plant the outside leg, drop the pads, and get upfield, baby.
And that was Dax Holman, number 34 for the Blazers. 3rd down and 2, ball at the Eastside 20-yard line. Once again, that's Bowen. And Ballantyne looking for 6, goes to the end zone and just overshot his man. Great defense on the play as he threw into double coverage.
That was a great shift defensively by the defensive backs. They went out there, made a great play on the ball, didn't let him get in behind him. It wasn't a bad throw, but great defense, and it's showing that pass coverage just the way we talked about in the pregame.
Yeah, and Carson Jacobs was back there on the coverage that time. And Jacobs has really been a blanket in the playoffs. So a good hold for Eastside. And let's see now if Andrean with the special teams, a field goal kicker you talked about in the pregame, Jake. Let's see if he can knock this through.
This will be a field goal attempt of 37 yards to start the scoring in this game. This is the first drive for Andrean. The kick is up. And it is good.
Wow. Nico Tovar right there, a big leg and just one of those stocky fellas with big quads, and he can bomb the ball down the field. So a nice start right there and stalled the drive, but to come away with three is a positive gain.
Absolutely. So Nico Tovar and Andrean, but honestly, after that first big play there by Ballantyne, you got to feel like this is a win for Eastside, holding them to 3. Let's take a look at this play one more time. Joe, take us through it.
Yeah, look how the offensive line comes down and blocks down. You see the hole right there on the replay. Springs Ballantyne. I think Eastside was as surprised as us because in the scouting report, Ballantyne just doesn't run. So that's a nice way of really going away from your tendencies and running your quarterback. You bring your left guard down. Looked like that time that was Ehrlicher who made that block, sprang it for Ballantyne. And how about the athletic ability for Ballantyne? So good-looking start to the drive for Andrean, but I do agree Eastside then stiffened up that play right there where Dax Holman gets off the block and comes up and makes the tackle on Bowen. That was a big play because that was 2nd and 1, Jeff. And when Bowen lost 3 yards there, it forced Andrean to throw the fade on 3rd down, which Carson Jacobs did a nice job covering. So that's a win for Eastside. But now it's important for Eastside to get their offense going now because Andrean looked very stout on that first possession with their defense.
Absolutely. Dakota Reed also in on the stop on that play. This one looks like it's going to get fielded at the 2. Drops right out of the hands of number 14, and he's going to be hit at the 19-yard line. But a nice return there by Briar Muncie.
Yeah, Muncie gets upfield. Muncie's the senior, 5'8", 160, Jake. Gets upfield. But boy, oh boy, Andrean's run down, putting some pads on cats tonight, boy.
They are fast to the football, I tell you, and they break down and hit hard. So it'll be interesting to see here if Eastside offensively can kind of stick to what they were doing. I like that they didn't get away from what got them here on the first drive, and hopefully they can clean up some of those snap mistakes.
So they'll bring up 1st down and 10 from the Andrean 22-yard line here for Laban Davis, Northeast Indiana Player of the Year. Davis keeping himself around the right edge, looking to bounce it out. 3 of the 59ers were there. Looks like a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah, that's good defense by Andrean. And what I like early on with Andrean is their corners, Jeff, are getting involved. Looked like that time James Mantell was up there, and also Billy Jones. I like Billy Jones, number 7. Watch Billy Jones in the Traction AP replay. See the creases there, right there. But look at the corners come up. You see how fast they come up? That crease is there because Eastside is huge on the right side of the line with Siebert going 6'4", 285, Fuentes 6'4", 250, but a nice job by the back end of Andrean closing it out.
2nd down and 7. Davis once again keeps it himself. This time he's stuck in the backfield. The 59ers having no problems of hitting Davis behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like that one was Bowen.
Yeah, Bowen is a beast. We talked about Bowen, 6'2", 215, the junior, the Notre Dame recruit. Then Eddie Bastardo, Jake. How good are those backers early on, Jake?
Goodness sakes. It's going to have to do something here with Eastside. They're going to have to do something to slow down this rush. And they're so gap sound right now on the Andrean side. A, B, C, D, you take any alphabetic letter you want. That gap is full right now, and they're going to have to do something different with Laban Davis here and try to figure this out.
Yeah, and Jeff, they're playing man-to-man the bottom of Billy Jones. Look how tight he is down here, Jeff. Eastside might be able to maybe throw a fade route to the near side down here with the matchup with Tanner Wicker.
Yeah, that was Jones with the coverage on Wicker, and that was Bastardo on that last stop for Andrean.
Woo, those backers are as good as advertised as Andrean. We've heard so much, obviously, the greatness of Bowen, but boy, Bastardo and Stevens have been a force early on. And number 9, Dom DeTola, right in the middle, the nose tackle, the senior. Dom goes 5'10", 235. I really like the way he's controlled the point of attack early on for Andrean, Jeff.
Andrean, they're attacking the line of scrimmage. They're going to make Eastside beat them with the pass. Let's look at it one more time. You got the 3 down linemen, but the outside linebackers playing up on the line.
Yes.
The 2 linebackers, and look how tight those safeties are to the line of scrimmage. They're barely 10 yards off.
And it's exactly what Jake said. They're playing a 3-man front. but they get skinny with the 3-man front. They bring up the outside backers. All of a sudden, you're trying to run a 5-man front.
Joe, that's kind of what we saw from Carroll early
Yes.
on this season when they were playing Snyder and their tough run game. Dax Holman going down to the wing, more in the slot on 3rd down and 7. Davis looking for him, has all kinds of time, throws to the sideline, has a reception. That's
Nice.
a first down there by Dylan Bredemeyer.
That was a throw right there. You want to get up on Max Preps. Let's get some of these recruits checking out our Northeast Player of the Year, Laban Davis. That's a fantastic throw. Even a little bit of lob. Not so much off his back foot. He was able to step in and throw just enough to get that out route towards the sidelines and keep this drive alive. But kudos to Andrean right now. They're going to force Laban Davis to throw throughout this game, and that's what we're seeing right now.
What was nice about that, Jeff, was Davis got outside the pocket and found a wide receiver.
1st and 10 from the Andrean 36-yard line. Davis trying to squeak through there. It's going to be a gain of about 1 yard. And I'm telling you guys, he's getting hit by 2 or 3 guys right away.
Watch this on the replay now, guys. Watch the backside in. Damari Wright come down and finish this play. Everything's right for Eastside in this play. They've got Davis. They've got the crease. They've got some time. Look at the backside in come down right there. You see how he closes that out? Beautiful defense. Eastside will not be able to run quarterback power or quarterback sweep if Damari Wright slants down like that.
2nd down and 8 now from the Andrean or Eastside 38-yard line. Davis finds a hole, takes it all the way to the 43.
That's better, Jake. But you see that time, Davis was cognizant of Wright, and he hit the hole faster.
Yes, and it's almost like Coach Chris Skinner has told these guys, hit Davis every play. Just hit him. If he is anything involved like he's going to be, just put a hat on him. And they are physical right now. Even on the backside route there, I think that was Holman that took a shot.
Yeah, also in on the tackle there was Damari Wright. You know, Wright, once again, a safety his first 2 years, played outside linebacker, so an extremely athletic defensive end. Here on 3rd and 4, that's Bowen with the pressure. And I'll tell you what, Davis had nothing he could do with that, and we got a flag.
Wow, that's going to be a huge break for Eastside. Let's take a look at it in the replay. Bowen does a great job tracking him down, then it hits him. They're going to call a personal foul. I don't know about this, guys. I got to see this on the replay. I thought this was pretty good football, but you're right. Watch how fast Bowen's on him. He's on him right here. Davis tries to get away. Look at the closing speed by Bowen. I don't like that, man. I don't think that's a personal foul in my opinion.
I don't know, Joe. Now let's look at this. Ball's out of his hands, 1-2, and then the hands go on him. That's looking like a personal foul to me. I think that's a right call by the referee there, James Craig.
Okay, well, we'll see. So I thought maybe he just got his hands on him, but no matter what, Jeff, what we can't agree on is that's a big break for Eastside, Jake, because look where it takes the football.
1st and 10 from the Andrean 43-yard line. In motion was number 44, Gavin Wallace. Davis with the stiff arm gets past one guy, takes it down to the 40. Right now you are seeing the strength of Laban Davis.
And Jake nailed it. Where are the recruiters? Watch Laban Davis stiff arm Damari Wright. Damari Wright goes 6'3", 225. Watch this Davis stiff arm. Watch it. Right there. You see that? See how he just puts that arm out and has the strength? That's the greatness of Laban Davis, Jake. The strength to always go forward.
Yes.
Yeah, I was eating it up on Twitter there. I saw Laban Davis on the incline bench. Looked like he had about 275 he was repping. Dax Holman now going to go down the line of scrimmage. Looking to his left. Davis, let's go. And he's got Wicker. No, that's Bradenmeyer. Nice spin move down to the 21.
I think they're going to ask Laban Davis to beat him with his arm, and he might just step up and do it, guys. That was an incredible throw right there. Great pocket awareness. He waits for the break and throws the ball and delivers at a perfect time. That's a pro-grade throw right there that you want from your quarterback.
That's a difference maker right there, because if Laban Davis, look how he sat in the pocket, look how the ball comes out. That's just a post route out there, but I loved how Bredemeyer sat down in the zone and made that catch, Jeff Mahoney. If Eastside can just throw the ball a little bit, that's going to change this game.
That was a great route by Brademeyer. Did not have a defender within 7 yards of him. Holman now going into the slot. 1st down and 10. Davis keeps it himself, and wow, once again, look at that. 4 59ers right around him.
And that time, Jake, with Holman going in motion, it feels like Eastside wants to widen those backers out.
They absolutely do, and you love those little caveats like that. And you send Holman out wide. and get him in motion early pre-snap and then go to the run. You wait till later in this game when they go and get him in that rocket motion and hit him on a swing pass because it's going to be there.
I agree, and this is a good-looking drive. Now, Jeff Mahoney, do you come back here and throw the ball again?
Well, we got two wide receivers at the top of your screen, wing to the left, and you absolutely empty backfield here on 2nd and 9 from the Andrean 22. Davis, wow, nice on the in pattern. Finds, I believe that's number 10, Johnny Eck.
Yeah, Johnny Eck is a fantastic player. 6 feet 175, the senior, a leader for this team. But how about the timing of that? We hear so much about Laban Davis. Watch it on the Traction AP replay. He plants. Look how the ball comes out. Look at Eck. Eck makes himself available, and that's just a hook that Eck's sitting down in that zone. That passing attack is there.
I'll tell you what, barreling down on him was number 26, Joe Kalachi, the linebacker. 3rd down and 4 from the 17. 20 seconds left to play here in this opening quarter. Davis takes it all the way down to the 10. That looks like that's a first down for the Blazers.
Just some absolutely selfless football, and you've got to love what Coach Mason's got cooking over here. Don't give up on what you got here, what got you here. You may only pick up 2 or 3 yards in the scrum in that power running game with your QB, but you keep grinding it out. It's going to open the pass game, and then you keep coming back to it. Great play calling.
And I like how Davis there, that was vintage Davis. He kind of gave you the skip at the end there, Jeff. Skipped through the crease, got skinny, and got the positive yards. That's a good first quarter for Eastside, and I think Eastside's found out they can throw the ball a little bit against this ferocious Andrean defense.
Andrean up 3-0 after 1. You're watching the IHSAA Championship Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, powered by Summit City Sports.
There are tons of benefits to using compression therapy, but my favorite are speeding up muscle recovery, reducing swelling and inflammation, and improving my athletic performance.
Your kids grow up quick, and there's a lot to teach them. Some lessons they won't pick up in school. Some they'll learn the hard way. But when it's time to give them the keys to their finances, we'll be there to help with their first checking account and the tools they need to make sense of their money. And even though they're off on their own, you'll be able to check in to see how they're doing. Raising your children is important, and teaching them about money is a big deal. So ProFed makes it easy. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing.
Welcome back, everybody, here in Butler, Indiana for the Class 2A Semi-State Championship. Eastside with the ball, 1st down and 10 from the Andrean 11-yard line. Wing switches to the left, and that's Davis busting out to the left. He's got an edge, and that's a touchdown as he dives for the pylon.
That was absolutely incredible speed, and there is Coach Mason football. We stick phone booth and we go inside zone handoffs and reads with our quarterback for a while and lull those outside guys to sleep. And right when they do, they forget they can run outside too, and a big score right there for Eastside.
Oh, they're going to call holding. I didn't see it. Let's check it on the replay. It was phone booth football. You're right, Jake. Watch how he breaks it outside. Let's look for the hold, see if we see it. I don't see it yet, guys.
I'm not sure if they called it up there with the receiver on the safety.
I was looking at the left tackle and the receivers out there.
I'm looking at the left of your screen right here, right there.
Maybe the receiver down the field, all the way down the field. I don't know, man. But nevertheless, now that's a devastating penalty. I loved it. I agree, Jake. That was Coach Mason football, and we saw the speed of Laban Davis. Now you got to suck it up and try to make it back, and now you got to be careful here, too, not to turn the ball over.
Davis on 1st down and 20. Finds a man, and he's got him. Brademeyer inside the 10 all the way to the 6. Wow.
Just showing this Eastside team's moxie right here. That was a very disappointing play or penalty a second ago, but they come back and they keep their composure, and Joe hit it right on the head. That was a very opportune time to throw an interception, and instead they sit a couple receivers down and send a strike down there, and they're still in scoring position here.
And they found something down at the bottom, Jeff, with Brademeyer and that one-on-one matchup.
Bredemeyer's finding the pockets. Now Davis going to keep it himself right up the gut, inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Looks like a gain of about 2 to 3 on the play.
I thought he was going to score, but number 4, Damari Wright, 6'3", 220. I see you out there, Damari Wright, in the all-clean white, comes down and just bear hugs Davis and stops the touchdown. That's a great play by the Andrean defensive end.
3rd down and 4 from the 5-yard line. Eastside can pick up a first down before scoring. Handoff goes to Jax, and he drags the pile. That's going to be close to a first down, boys.
Wow, I didn't think he had anything on that, Jake. Looked like Andrean, looked like it was Kalasecki that hit him in the backfield. But wow, does that big fullback Holman bury his way. I thought he was close to the first down. Might be 4th and short.
Looks like a 4th and short. The 6', 210-pound fullback. Let's see. This is going to be hat-to-hat, mano-a-mano right here, guys.
Bookmark it. Huge play early on. Big money down play, Jeff Mahoney.
4th down and 1 for the Blazers. 2 wide receivers on the bottom of your screen, 1 up top. They're going to move the wing to the right. And Davis going to follow his blockers, and it looks like that's going to be a stop by the Fighting 59ers.
What a defensive stop, and let's see where they spot. I think he's going to get a little bit better spot, but I think Andrean stopped that. How about the backers of Andrean to scrape and get there? Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be the difference with your credit card on this one. This is going to be super close, Tommy Norris. Let's see. Initially, he had some push right there in the replay. Right there. But look at Wright and the backers close it down, Jeff Mahoney. This is going to be so close, you guys.
Man, you see Trey Stevens just fly in there, diving over the pile.
Oh.
And it is short.
Game of inches, my friend. That's short by about 2 inches. And, man, how about the Andrean defense, Jeff Mahoney, sucking it up. And how big was that holding call to keep Eastside out of the end zone? So, wow, Andrean sucks it up. Now, for Eastside, can you maybe pin them deep here? Can you put your ears back and maybe get a big play?
I'll tell you what, though, one thing we learned on that drive is there's no giving up on this Eastside team.
No, not at all.
They were not phased at all after that holding. They go from 1st and 10, scoring a touchdown, to 1st and 20, and then they pick up 12 yards right back.
And you feel like on 4th and 1 with Laban Davis, you can get that there.
That's Ballantyne going to have to start this drive at his own 2-yard line. Has Bowen in the backfield with him. Pistol alignment, and the handoff's going to go to Big Drake. Squeaks through all the way to the 4-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play.
6'2", 215, the Notre Dame recruit. That's a pretty good guy to run there, though, Jake. But I tell you what, good push up front by that east side. Bobby Davis and Brady Lobb getting in there to stop him.
Yeah, they need a big stop here. Just with the way that the snap went over the quarterback's head earlier on in the game, and then that holding call, they're bouncing back from adversity, but they've got to get the ball back in Laban Davis's hands here. And Andrean just going to pound that rock and try to get some safety net.
9 minutes and counting. 2nd down and 8. Ball at their own 4-yard line. Ballantyne still in the end zone, close to the goal line. Bowen lined up right behind him. Looks to his left, has his first progression, and that's going to be, a gain of maybe 1 or 2 on the play.
Yeah, and that's Bredemeier out there at corner for Eastside. Now, that time when you look at it in the replay, Ballantyne rushed himself, Jake Smith, and that wasn't the greatest ball. That ball was low. That was a good catch out there, Jeff Mahoney, by the wide receiver. But watch it in the replay. Watch Ballantyne. Watch see how his feet aren't really set that well. A little bit wide. That ball goes low. So now it's a huge 3rd down here, and Eastside needs to stop.
And that was the super sophomore Patrick Clax making the grab. 3rd down and 7 from the 5-yard line. Eastside defense trying to hold up strong here as a handoff goes to Bowen, trying to bounce it out wide. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, good defense by Eastside. Looked like Bibby out there, and Trevor Fichter. Fichter, number 51, 6'3", 210, just blows through it. I think you're gonna have offsides. Wow.
Wow.
That's a huge penalty on Eastside, Jake. Wow.
That is such a letdown right there, guys, because they played that so well.
Man, I'd like to see that again, but I tell you what, Eastside, you can't make those mistakes. Did a nice job on Bowen to close that play out. So now, we'll see is that's going to put it up maybe, 3rd and 1 now? That's going to be real close to a first down. Let's see.
Well, I had a hard time seeing it. Are they saying Fichter was lined up offsides?
They're saying Fichter was lined up offsides. I didn't see it, but you got a linesman down there who's watching that pretty closely.
Yes,
but the
sir.
good news for Andrean is that's a huge first down for Andrean. Now you got some breathing room maybe to attack with your pass game here.
It's 1st and 10 now from their own 20-yard line. Offset right is Bowen. Man in motion is that Clax. They're going to hand him off on the jet sweep.
What a
Nowhere
read.
to go. It's just stuck for a loss of 2.
What a read. They tried to hand off on the jet sweep right there. I believe that was Alonzo Paul that came across, and they just absolutely stuffed him, sniffed it out.
And Dakota Reed, check this on the replay. I had his mother offered me chicken on the way in. 6 feet, 200 pounds, the junior. Watch him close right there. Wow, I see you, Dakota Reed. That's how you play outside linebacker. 81 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, and getting it done there.
Hey, those uniforms are slick, but that gold on white's a little hard to read. 2nd down and 10. Gain is 0 on the play. Ball at the 20. Ballantyne going to go to the opposite side. Great defense on the play by number 11, Carson Jacobs.
6 feet, 175, Jake Smith, the junior, shut down Brody Glenn. That's blanket coverage there, my friend.
I tell you what, going against a big guy like number 21, a big superstar wide receiver, he played that well. He's not letting the game get away from him right there, and he's not getting tied up in the hand battle. Great pass coverage right there.
And if I'm a recruiter, Jeff Mahoney, number 11, Carson Jacobs, and number 34, Dax Holman, they're on my junior list.
3rd down and 10 from their own 20 for the Fighting 59ers. This is their 2nd possession of the game. Ballantyne gets off his first possession, and he is stuffed for a sack.
Wow, what an effort down there to get off the block. Looked like 29, Bobby Davis,
Yes,
Jeff.
sir.
5'7", 190, the senior. 6.5 sacks, leads him this season. I see you, Bobby Davis. Watch Bobby Davis. Think of Dwight Freeney off the ball. Look at Davis get off the ball. See how he gets off the block? Beautiful, comes down, makes the sack. Think of Dwight Freeney, how hard he was when he played for the Colts to get blocked, because when you're 5'7", 190, you play so low, you just can't get leverage on him.
And guys, that's the new right tackle there in Ozubel, number 76. So a quick punt by Andrean. That's going to be fielded at the 48. And Briar Muncie picks it up and takes it all the way to the Andrean 45-yard line.
He really fought himself there for a good extra 10 or 15 yards.
I like that, Jake. Do you like that? I mean, I like the idea he picked it up, or do you think he's really gambling there, Jake?
You know, the way that he had it, looked like he had a good read on where that ball was at. I think if the conditions were a little slicker, I say fall on it. But right here, they're playing for each other hard, man. And you see this, Joe. They are fighting for every inch. You look at how this game is progressing, fellas. It feels like Eastside should be winning 14-3, and these little mental errors keep happening.
Yes.
Let's see if they can get it done on this drive.
See Muncie pick that up and stay low. He was just fighting for any extra yards he could get moving forward. Davis and flags right at the snap.
False start on Eastside, and I tell you what, Eastside's got to clean it up now. And I tell you what, it's so hard to get behind the sticks on first down. Now you're 1st and 15. So, and Eastside's being forced into throwing the ball a lot more than they want to. Now they've got that matchup, and they found some openings throwing the football, but it's tough to be 1st and 15. You got to clean up the mistakes right now if you're Eastside.
Be 1st and 15 from the Andrean 49-yard line. Once again, that's Pat Reith on camera, doing an outstanding job always.
The best.
In a spread formation here, empty backfield. In motion is number 86, Bibby. And we got a screen set up.
Oh, man.
And nice open field tackle, but taking it to the 41-yard line there was Gavin Wallace.
That's a great play call. And if Billy Jones, number 7 in white, 5'9", 150 senior, doesn't make that tackle, Wallace goes to the house, Jake.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Great fundamental football there by Billy Jones against that screen, but a great play call right there.
Yes.
And Eastside's offense continues to keep their feet underneath them, even with these mental errors.
That's a great play call, but an even greater player by the corner, Billy Jones.
Yeah, Jones has stepped up large a few times. Bibby once again in motion, rubs right off of the wing. Davis gets the defensive end up in the air, and his pass is going to be just a bit low.
Yeah, that time Davis, he had the tight end early on the route on the out, and Davis held it. And as a quarterback, and this is what's interesting because Andrean's doing a nice job making Davis do the things that he's not 100% comfortable with. Watch it. The ball's got to go right now. Got to let it go. You got the tight end on the out. Once you hold it late, Jake, you're in trouble. Bad things happen. I thought he was going to tuck it and run it that time, but that ball has to come out early. But I like the Andrean game plan defensively. And look at that three-man front for Andrean. They're adjusting now to that pass game.
Tanner Wicker into the game in the top of your screen. Look for a pass. You got it. Looks for Wicker. Just overthrows him.
Yeah, good defense out there. Now Andrean's showing you some adjustments, some multiple fronts, different looks. And that time on that possession, he got the early penalty. Eastside had that. They got behind the sticks and had some problems. Now what do you do here, guys? It's 4th down. Do you punt and play field position?
Gosh, that's such a tough call here, Joe. I think I would punt the ball just with the way that your defense has been playing.
Got to punt the ball here.
Yeah.
4th and 7 from the Andrean 41-yard line, and Davis does just that, steps back, and a beautiful punt here for Davis. See if they can get down. The coverage team, no, it's going to roll through for a touchback. Brademeyer was on it, was just about 3 yards too late.
Yeah, that's a good call on the punt, but a break for Andrean to get that roll. But how about these defenses really dictating in the first half? Now for Andrean, this is a huge drive. So only 3-0. You feel like if you could get a touchdown here, 10-0 would be huge. But I think Andrean has to do a better job protecting Valentine and see if they can push the ball down the field.
The Eastside defense, just like you were saying, has played so well. Their DBs are stepping up big time in this game. You absolutely have to punt that ball. So great call there, Jake Smith. 1st down and 10. Offset left is Drake Bowen of Bellinger. Pulls it down, and he's got his man. That's a completion there to Alonzo Paul. First time we've called his name. Last year, first team all-conference, gain of about 13 yards.
5'8", 170, dynamic in the slot. I love the play call. You do the play action fake to your big back and Bowen and see how fast Valentine gets that ball out. Watch how fast the ball is. It's out now. Look at Paul on the skinny post. Makes himself available. That's Andrean football.
Brings up 1st and 10 here from their own 33-yard line for Valentine. Kalachi there at the right wing. They're going to hand it off to Bowen. Bowen, patient through the hole, will pick up a gain of about 4 yards on the play. He is a patient runner. We've seen that on film.
Absolutely we have, and you love to see that from the Notre Dame commit. And if you're Eastside right here, it's bend, don't break. You want to run stuff. You want to get outside, make sure that your pass coverage is tight. But you've got 4 minutes before half. Do not, whatever you do, give up a sloppy touchdown here.
Excuse me, that's Bastardo out there at the right wing here for Andrean. 2nd and 5 from their own 37. Bowen once again out of the pistol. Takes a handoff. Bowen slips one defender. He's got room to run. Woo! Gets the 1st down and then some all the way to the 46-yard line.
That's a good-looking play. They get Bastardo involved on the kick-out, and Bowen slices right through that hole. And I love it when Bowen, 6'2", 215, the junior Jake Smith, plants the outside leg, gets upfield. Watch him finish this run. Watch him drop his head. Look at Bastardo lead him out there with the block. Watch it right there. Boom! Get out the way. That's the way I'm going to lower my pads.
The Blazers pinned their ears back on that one, and they paid a little bit.
1st down and 10 now from the Fighting 59er 45-yard line. Once again, pistol alignment, and Paul in motion here for the 59ers. Valentine looking deep, has a man, and it's caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Andrean. They're going to take the lead now, 10-0.
What a pass. Gets the one-on-one coverage. Looked like that was the backside receiver. Looked like he threw that one to his brother.
His older brother.
Older brother, Bobby Valentine. And what a pass, Valentine to Valentine. They get the backside pass, the fade, Jake Smith. And it's interesting because Clax and Paul, they brought Paul in motion, moved the safety, and Valentine finds his brother on the deep ball on the backside. Beautiful pass, beautiful execution, and beautiful play call.
Tovar in for the PAT attempt. Has already made a 37-yard field goal in this game. The kick is up, and it is good. Wow, so Andrean takes the lead 10-0 over Eastside. Guys, let's take a look at this one more time. What a pass by Valentine.
Yes, he finds his brother. Watch how they move the motion. You see Paul's move? You got one-on-one backside. It's just a fade. But look how he sticks an arm right there. That's the greatness of Scott Valentine. Knows where his older brother's going to be. And Andrean makes a huge play in the pass game. And as far as Eastside, I understand because you're so focused on Clax on the strong side. Paul comes in motion, and you catch him asleep on the backside. Big play for Andrean.
And this is the way that with the film that I've watched this week, this is Andrean football. Now they've got the pedal down, and they want to start rolling. If it's Eastside, guys, just take a deep breath and calm down. You've overcome some adversity with a bad snap and a holding call. Get yourself back in position in this game. It's not over.
It's danger time now for Eastside. This is a big drive here. But, Jeff, that's why it's so key for that Andrean offense to have 3 receivers that have more than 40 catches on the year, because what you can do is you can move pieces around, and we're so focused on Clax. We saw Paul on that drive catch a pass out of the slot position that he comes back to his older brother, Bobby, on the big play. But now for Eastside, you're right, Jake, suck it up. This next drive is going to be huge.
Briar Muncie, Dakota Reed back for the Blazers. It'll be the up man to receive it at the 15-yard line. And past the 25 all the way to the 29-yard line for the Blazers. We'll catch a number for you. That's number 1, Dylan Bredemeyer.
Yeah, good job by Bredemeyer to get upfield. But, Jake, you always talk about special teams. I like the fact that Andrean is playing their front line defensive starters on that kickoff team and getting downfield to cover that.
Like you say, Joe, they want to let those dogs eat. They know who's got them here, and they want to let them pursue and execute on the special team side of the football.
First down and 10 from their own 29-yard line. Holman offset left as that fakes the handoff. Davis stuffed right at the line of the scrimmage. Keep fighting. It's going to be, looks like he'll have a gain of about 1.5 yards.
And if you watch this replay here, watch Drake Bowen read and react to Davis on the quarterback power, and he fills that hole. You got to love the Trey in the background with the physical football. Watch Bowen right there. See him read and react. Boom. Watch how he flies in there, drops his pads. What I like about Bowen is not only does he read and react, but when he makes that commitment to make the tackle, he's so quick to the player.
Second down and 9 now from the 29-yard line. Looks like it's spotted right there at the 30. Davis flushed out of the pocket and taken down. That'll be a sack on the play.
That's that looks like Dotola that time, Jeff, number 9. He has been a force up front. Dotola goes 5'10", 235. Let's check it in the Traction AP replay. Watch Dotola, guys. Watch him in the middle. Get off the block. You see him right there, beat the double team. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going nuts if I'm an Andrean defensive coach. Beats the double team, splits the double team, and makes the sack. That's a tremendous effort out of your nose tackle, and it really takes Eastside out of what they want to do.
And Dotola's one of those guys that's playing his first year at defensive tackle.
Unbelievable leverage. 5'10", 235, the senior. Really difficult to get a hat on him. And look at Dotola pumped up out there. Andrean's playing well. Boy, can Eastside really use a first down here.
Gosh, they're the defensive tackle right there that you keep talking about, man, he's Dotola. It just reminds you of like a Danny Shelton type body and frame. Yep. And he's disruptive on every single play so far.
He has been. That's going to be an adjustment for Eastside at halftime. We got to figure out Where's the nose tackle number 9 at? With that 3-man front, we may have to double him a little bit, Jake Smith, because he's blowing up a lot of the things we want to do. And it's interesting is Andrean has forced Eastside into be more of a passing team the first half instead of the running game, so it allows those guys to really blitz. You know, and Jeff talked about how good Damari Wright is, and Trey Stevens, an outside backer. Seems like everybody's involved. Now, if I'm Eastside, I might come back to that screen play. We had some success with that screen because Andrean's so ferocious with the defense, but man, Andrean has really picked it up in the second quarter.
Yeah, and when I talked to Coach Skinner, Dom DeTola was the first guy that he talked about, saying he's never played defensive tackle before this season. Wallace in motion. Looks like flag going to be called there on the Blazers.
That's a false start in the offensive line, and that's a flag brought to you by Dom DeTola because DeTola has been an absolute force. So now what they're down there thinking about in the offensive line, Jake Smith, is, man, who's got Damari Wright? We better double DeTola. We got to get a hat on these guys.
So now it's 3rd and 20 from their own 18-yard line. Empty backfield, spread formation, and they're going to go up the seam, and that ball is that intercepted?
Ooh, I thought he had it. He dropped it. It's going to be incomplete. Ooh. That was a pretty good pass, Jake, up the seam. I thought Eastside had something there.
Yeah, great pass coverage again. It looked like a good seam route right there and just couldn't come down with it. But this is exactly what we just said. For Eastside, you don't want to give up that huge play. And now not only did you do that, but 4th and 20 now, 10-0. You're deep in your own territory, and you've got to get rid of the ball again on a punt, with time for Andrean to come back down and make you pay again.
And that was Billy Jones, the outside corner, Jeff, closing all the way down that play, making a heck of a play.
4th down and 20. Davis with a nice-looking pump, but it will be fielded at the 47-yard line. That's Drake Bowen. Bowen still on his feet. No, was that number 84 for the
Ballantyne?
That was Ballantyne.
How about Ballantyne getting back there? Good call, Jeff Mahoney. I got my bifocals on, but that little light gold on white is tough to see up there. But Ballantyne does a great job not letting that ball hit the ground. You always want your punt return, man, to catch that ball on the fly. It was kind of a line drive punt, and Ballantyne makes a nice play. So now if you're Eastside, this is danger time. You got to get a stop here. And if I'm Andrean, Jake Smith, I'm hyper-aggressive with my pass game here.
1st and 10 from the Blazers, 35-yard line. Ballantyne out of the shotgun. Bowen lined up directly behind him. Ballantyne looks to his first read. And that ball just a little bit outside there. That was intended for Clax.
That's Clax, 6'1", 180. Jake loves his tape, the sophomore. Pitt's already offered him. But how about Carson Jacobs? Is there anybody who's had a better playoff than number 11 for Eastside, the junior Carson Jacobs? Think of the guys he's going up against, Jake, and how he's shutting them down.
You give him the biggest job on the field, and so far he's had a lot of success.
2nd down and 10 now from the 35-yard line. Ballantyne once again out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen. His brother, the wideout on the bottom. He's looking for him. No, goes over to Paul, who gets tackled out at about the 22.
You love those types of caveats right there and a beautiful play fake. You know, you go out of the pistol like that, and it's almost like a counter motion the quarterback makes, and he steps into the throw. And here we go, a minute 15 as they're driving down the field again, and they're right. Danger's about to strike again.
And Paul's so crisp with his route. Runs the defender off from the slot position. That's nothing but a deep out. But Paul runs him off so well, and Ballantyne's so good coming out of the pocket with his footwork to stick that ball in the money. Very impressed with the Andrean pass game in the first half.
Now it's the outside backer, Dakota Reed, with the stop. 1st down and 10 now from the 22-yard line. They'll give it to Bowen. Bowen waiting for his blockers. We got holding going to be called on the play. This one's coming back.
That's going to be a hold on the left tackle. When you watch it, looked like Bowen had nothing there, Jake, but that was a hold on the left tackle against the defensive ends for Eastside. So that's a big break for Eastside. Not only does that stop that play, with only a minute left here coming up in the first half, Jake, that's going to push that ball all the way back. See it right there? See the hold right there? got them locked up inside, man. And that's the biggest thing with those holes, those left tackles. You got to have the ability to let go, baby. When you get that initial block, it's all about hand placement. Hand placements have to be inside, and then when that defender turns, Jeff Mahoney, you got to let go, baby. And nobody coaches it better than the great Jason Fabini for Bishop Dwenger.
You're absolutely right, and that's the thing. You've got to trust that your big back, when he gets outside, has made that step, and he's ready to go.
So they'll make it first down and 20. Ball sitting at the 34-yard line of the Blazers. Once again, pistol alignment here for Andrean. 2 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. That's Bobby Ballantyne all the way at the bottom. Now it's Clax. They're going to go the other way, and it's intercepted!
Oh!
Huge intercepted by number 10, Johnny Eck, running down the sideline. Pushed down at the 41.
Did you see the read on that football? He smoked him all the way, and the bad part right there, the quarterback shakes off but looks down that receiver. Joe Walburn always says you're trying to look off that safety, and he shoulder shrugged, but he was still looking his guy down, and he just got demoralized right there by the DB.
That's a great point. See the shoulder shrug right there? That's just enough for that safety to come over. That's cover 2 defense. If you're going to throw the fade on cover 2, the ball has to come out early, and you have to stick it in that hole. Jake Smith nails it. The shoulder shrug by Ballantyne brought Johnny Eck over, read the eyes, and that's a huge turnover for Eastside.
Johnny Eck with his 4th interception of the season. Davis looking to his right, and that pass is batted down. Wow. Was that right again?
That's right out there. Right is listed at 6'3", 220. He looks about 6'5" to me up here. Watch him climb the staircase this time to knock this down. Watch your head, young man. Watch this, Jeff Mahoney. I'd love to know what his vertical is. Watch how he gets up. See that right there?
Whoa. Wow.
Don't bump your head, young man. That's a great play from the defensive end position. So what they have to do, the tackle on that, Jeff, when he jumps like that, you got to put a forearm in his ribs and make him not jump anymore.
Maury Wright looking like an outside hitter on that state championship Andrean volleyball team as Davis trying to get to the outside, and he is stuffed. Once again, making the stop. That time was Stevens.
I tell you what, that I would stay away from that side. Wright goes 6'4", 220, the senior. Stevens 5'11", 190, a sophomore. Another kid to really watch as a recruit, but the ability to scrape. Watch him scrape on this play. Watch the outside backer up top. See how he shoots through? Boom! Recognizes, drops the pad, makes the tackle. Phenomenal. If I'm Eastside, my adjustment is Jake Smith in the second half. I stay away from that right side, maybe come back to the left side.
Well, one of the things, that I really like about Trey Stevens is that's going to do it for the half. But Stevens entering today, 9 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 5 passes defended, and 2 fumble recoveries, going with 78 tackles. Is that telling you right there that kid can do everything?
Yes, and it's a lot of respect from Coach Mason. They figured, heck, why take a chance? Let's just let the clock run out. Let's regroup. Let's get to halftime. Now, let's find out the mark of a great coach. 2 things we always say, Jake Smith. Do your kids play hard for you? Absolutely, for both of these teams. Do both these coaches make in-game adjustments? Absolutely. But Coach Mason right now has got to make an in-game adjustment. Now, I feel like he's got a break because that last interception, I thought Eastside was in big-time trouble. So you go in down only 10-0. You got stopped on 4th and 1. Now, if you're Eastside, can you make the adjustments and get your offense going?
Yeah, and you hope for Eastside's sake that these different things that have happened throughout the game isn't enough to kind of keep them down, because it just seemed like all those little caveats, there's one thing after another. You had the botched snap that lost them 20 or 30 yards, took them back to the 50-yard line early. You had the hold, and then you get stuffed on 4th and short, and you're still battling, and then you give up that big play. It was only a 3-0 game until just a couple of minutes ago. We hope that they can rise to the occasion in the second half, and I'm sure that Coach Mason's going to have them ready for that task.
And that's a great point, Jeff. Really only 4 plays. That's how close these teams are and how good these teams are and how well coached they are. The big holding call down here took away the touchdown, you're right. Then Andrean sucks it up on 4th down with the backers, gets the stop. And then Scott finds Bobby, his older brother, on the fade route, and that's really the difference. But now let's find out who can make the halftime adjustments.
Well, Andrean's up 10-0 here at the break. The Fighting 59ers are looking for their 7th semi-state championship in program history, and Eastside's looking for their first. You're watching the IHS AA Champions Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and powered by Summit City Sports. We'll be back in 4 minutes, folks.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Here at Always 100, we have different things that we provide each week with our elite training, working on things that can help them get a scholarship in the future if they don't have one right now. Watching skill development, helping kids get better, understanding what it takes to get to the next level, catching and shooting, working on ball handling. In the last 5 years, we had over 200 kids that's able to play basketball at some places from the NAIA, Division III, Division II, or Division I level.
I choose to do whole body cryotherapy after practices, games, and training. It reduces inflammation in my muscles and allows me to move more agile throughout my profession. I became a believer in iCryo after my severe injury in college at Notre Dame, tore my ACL, and I was looking for ways to recover, ways to get back on the field. So I'm thankful for iCryo.
Your kids grow up quick, and there's a lot to teach them. Some lessons they won't pick up in school. Some they'll learn the hard way. But when it's time to give them the keys to their finances, we'll be there to help with their first checking account and the tools they need to make sense of their money. And even though they're off on their own, you'll be able to check in to see how they're doing. Raising your children is important, and teaching them about money is a big deal. So ProFed makes it easy. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing.
Welcome back, everybody. Butler, Indiana, Class 2A semi-state championship game here. Andrean on top, 10-0 over Eastside. And what an outstanding first half we saw. You know, it's been tough for Laven Davis to get going, but, man, when Eastside needs him, he seems to squeak out those big plays. And I'm telling you what, that was an absolute huge interception by Johnny Eck to thwart that last drive there by Andrean. You know, it could easily be 17-0 right now if it wasn't for that big-time pick.
Yeah, and that's my message if I'm Coach Mason. We're okay, okay? We dodged a bullet at the end. Look, We got caught with a holding call, or we'd be on the board. We're okay. Let's get back to what we do. I want to come back. I want to run Laban Davis. I don't want to be forced into having to throw the ball on first and second down. I want to get back to my game plan. Now, if I'm Coach Mason, I like the screen they ran with Wallace. That was a good-looking play, but I got to get back to power football, and my message really is to my offensive line. We've got to get number 9, Dom Totola, blocked. If we can get Andrean's nose tackle blocked at the point of attack, I think we have a chance to do things. Now, guys, they're playing a 3-man front. They're bringing the backers up, but we are man-to-man up front on the offensive line. Fire off, stay low, and get a hat on somebody.
You're right about that, Joe. And number 9, Dom Totola, it's just been a one-man wrecking crew this entire game, and has really set the tone for most plays that we've seen. And like you said, we're a couple of little mishaps or penalties or missteps, whatever you want to call them, mental errors away from this being a 10-7 game. But kudos to Eastside for gutting it out and keeping this a little closer than we expected going into half. That was a heck of an interception, and we'll see what the second half brings.
And that was just a big pass, Jeff, from Scott Ballantyne to Robbie Ballantyne. I really like the design of that play because they put Paul in motion, and Andrean hit a big one there, but really not that much else of a difference with these two teams, Jeff.
Well, let's see. This game starts off, Eastside's driving down the field. A snap right over the head. Just went right through the hands of Davis. They lose about 20 yards on the play, eventually have to punt. And take me through this very first play of the game for Andrean on offense. I mean, this probably shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, we all thought he would stay in the pocket. You see the motion. He fakes the handoff. They bring the left guard over to block down, and that was a huge hole. We were shocked to see Scott Ballantyne with those kinds of wheels run through that hole, Jake Smith, and Eastside was shocked. So that was a great play to go away from your tendencies for Andrean to really set the tone, because the rest of the half, Eastside was kind of thinking to themselves, well, maybe he does run a little bit, and then we saw the pure Andrean where they attacked with the pass game.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with Andrean that I liked with them coming in is their passing concepts. They really run a lot of different route trees. It's very impressive to watch.
And then with Eastside, we talked about the run game. It's been hard to get going here. Watch the spillover by the defense right here. This is what they've been doing, stretching out all these runs.
Yeah, and the game plan's been solid on defense for Andrean because you got Trey Stevens outside backer, Kalachecki at outside backer, and I like what the corners have done, especially Billy Jones, number 7 in white. Billy Jones has gotten involved in the run game, so when you see Davis gets that crease, if the outside backer can't get there, Jones has been filling that hole. So I like the way Andrean, Jeff, has really managed the defense against the East Side run game.
Now this one right here is just a tough play to start the second quarter. We all thought that Laban was going to get a touchdown right here trying to find the hole, but they just called holding on the play.
There wasn't holding on that play. We've been back over it. I didn't see it. Typically on that play, when the quarterback breaks it outside like that, the hold's going to be on the left tackle. Left tackle was clean. Slot receiver was clean. That was a good-looking play, and that's devastating for Eastside to get the penalty on that. Now, they battled back and got the ball down to 4th and 1, but I did not, with all due respect, I did not see a hold on that play, Jeff Mahoney.
Well, and this was the very next play, and we knew Eastside was the real deal after this on 1st and 20 to pick up 12 yards there and eventually get stopped on 4th and 1 against that great Andrean defense there. That tells you right now you're down 10-0, you're not out of this game.
No, and they did a nice job with Bredemeyer getting the one-on-one matchup, Jake, to the outside. So they attacked with the pass game, demonstrated they could throw it, and Jeff's right, overcame the penalty, got down to 4th and 1. You got to feel like with Laban Davis on 4th and 1, or maybe you run Dax Holman on 4th and 1, but you got to feel like if you're Eastside, you can convert on that.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest caveat there is that both of the big plays against Eastside with the holding call and the fumble were both scoring opportunities, and that's why you're paying right now.
And this was a big play right here. Talk about brotherly love as Ballantyne hits his brother Ballantyne for a deep touchdown.
I just like the design of that play because we saw earlier in the drive Alonzo Paul catches the post out of the slot position, correct? So they bring Paul in motion that time across the formation. The safeties for Eastside have to slide over. They got one-on-one the backside, Robbie Ballantyne against Dylan Bredemeyer. And look how fast the ball comes out. You see the fade right there, boom, has a step on him, but that's the ball placement by Scott Ballantyne, the accuracy and throwing the ball on time, understanding the concepts, and you can't help but shade the other way because you got Clax and Paul coming over. So that's just a great play call.
And you got to love that. You know, you talk about the tightness, the tight-knit community of Eastside and the players playing together, but how about a pair of brothers? That passing concept right there was built on Thanksgiving dinners at Grandma's house, fellas. You know, these guys been throwing the ball in the backyard since they were 6 and 8 years old probably, so you love to see that.
Think about that if you're mom and dad Ballantyne, you know.
You got to be proud.
The younger to the oldest, you know what I mean? But that was a great play, Jeff. And that's where we felt like on that drive, Andrean started to get their rhythm. We felt like Ballantyne started to set his feet and really deliver the football.
Last year at this time, Dom DeTola didn't even know what it felt like to play defensive tackle, but he's been a beast splitting the double team.
That was awesome. That was, as a defensive guy, that was my favorite play in the first half. Splits the double team, is so low. I tell you what, DeTola, 5'10", 235, the senior, 60 tackles, but 14 tackles for a loss. See how he comes off the ball so fast? Boom, watch he gets to the double team. You cannot block him if you're high because he's going to play with such leverage, and he's so quick to get to Davis. Davis is elusive in that pocket, but DeTola breaks down and gets one of his biggest sacks of the year.
And we always talk about the low man wins in football, and that's just fundamentals right there. He's
Absolutely.
quick to the ball and fast with his feet.
And on 3rd and 20, this is a huge play by James Mantle. Check it out right here, number 22, coming from the outside, nearly picked that ball off.
Yeah, good call. We knew it was one of the corners. We thought maybe Jones the original call, but nice way to clean that up, Jeff. That's James Mantle, the junior out there, 41 tackles, but more importantly for Mantle, 3 interceptions. So he's playing that deep coverage, that deep zone on the outside, has his head up, eyes down the field, recognizes the seam route, and just the explosiveness to get to the player. And that's probably the biggest thing, guys, in the first half that stuck with me with the Andrean defense is the explosiveness, the ability to close out spaces, and the athletic ability on that defense.
And, Joe, what would it feel like to be down 17-0 at the half? Well, Eastside doesn't have to worry about it because check out this interception by Johnny Eck.
And Jake called it. See how he read his eyes? And he went up and got that ball, high-pointed that ball. But Jake called it. That was the only bad ball that Scott Ballantyne threw in the first half. Watch the hitch right there. You see how he hitched it? Jake nailed it. He hitched that shoulder just enough. You cannot stare down. That's a cover 2 defense. See, that ball has to be gone so much shorter. You see that hole there? I never liked throwing that fade against the cover 2 because you could just, it was such a difficult throw, and you could miss that so easy. See how he misses it? Brings Eck right into play. Eck makes a big interception. If I'm Coach Mason, I'm breathing a sigh of relief because now I can go in the locker room and say, hey, we're only down 10. These are mistakes that we can clean up. Now, if I'm Coach Skinner with Andrean, I'm disappointed with that because I felt like maybe I scored there. I could put Eastside's lights out.
Ooh, we're almost ready for the start of the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching IHSAA Championship Network, presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and powered by Summit City Sports.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirit, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA. This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome back, everybody. Butler, Indiana, Class 2A football semi-state. Joe, do you have any updates for us?
Yeah, we got some scores. First of all, we'll start with the 6A. Westfield and Maryville, good game at halftime, 14-7 Westfield. So I felt like Maryville could win that game tonight. I don't think Westfield is as dominant as they were last year. I know the running back and quarterback down there a year older, but that's a good matchup down the west side of Indianapolis. The other 6A game is Center Grove is rolling Ben Davis 38-6. So the march continues on for Center Grove. As Jeff says, maybe one of the best teams in our country this year in high school football.
They're still, I believe, number 8 nationally ranked right now, guys.
They are loaded, 38-6 over Ben Davis. And, hats off to Ben Davis. They had some early losses, but they sucked it up and played some good ball in the playoffs. So that's 6A. Down 5A over here at Michigan City. It's Zionsville 28-9 at halftime over Michigan City. So Michigan City had such a huge win last week over Valparaiso in the regional. That was a big win in overtime, but Zionsville, and we saw Zionsville punish Dwenger with that huge offensive line. So Zionsville's getting it done up north in 5A. The other 5A game, we do not have a report yet. That's Cathedral and New Albany, so we'll see how that plays out. As far as 4A, how about New Prairie? 14-7 over Northridge. They're at home at halftime, so we felt like with the way Northridge went through Northwood, Leo, Mississinawa, we liked Northridge in that game, but New Prairie is having a heck of a playoff run too. So 14-7 there in that 4A game. The other 4A game, Mount Vernon is up over Evansville Memorial right now, 42-28 in the fourth quarter. So Mount Vernon might break through and get to that state championship game. Over and looking through some of the other results, there's an area team around here that we follow. Adams Central's 30-0 in their game, and that's in the fourth quarter. So Adams Central's playing well there, 30-0 on the road over North Judson. So they look good there. Looking through some of the other scores, it was Evansville Mater Dei 23-7. That's a final over Indianapolis Cecina.
That's a final.
That's a final.
That's a final. Wow.
That was kind of a toss-up game into 2A to see between those two teams. So whoever wins this, Mater Dei's waiting next week in Indianapolis for them. So just good ball all across the area. And I tell you what, Jeff, you can't beat high school football. One more score to pass along. It's 17-16 in the fourth quarter at the 3A game. Brebuff is leading Mishawaka Marion. So a good game up in Mishawaka. Good game up in Mishawaka there. And that other 3A game, Gibson and Tri-West, they're playing tomorrow night. So, man, good matchups across the state. Couple close games, my friend. And I tell you what, winner of this game, 2 quarters left, can get to Indianapolis and meet Mater Dei next Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving weekend, my friend. We know how we love our football on Thanksgiving,
yes,
boy. I
sir.
tell you what. But let's see what Eastside can do here in the second half. And let's see if Andrean maybe can put the foot to the metal, Jeff.
And then we're all heading over to Crown Point for the middle school showcase that's put on by Collectively Evolving.
Yes.
And, it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. And, boy, we got some kids from Whitley County, don't we, Jake Smith? Tell them about Jake Slater, 6'2", 205. Don't tell him you about broke my ribs and busted my lip. Tell them about Jake Slater.
Let me tell you a quick story about Jake Slater. So I've got a buddy whose wife works out at Indian Springs Middle School, and so they're walking around out there, and there's Jake walking with all the 6th grade kids, and my buddy says to his wife, he says, who's the high school kid showing the middle schoolers around? And she says, that's a 6th grader. He says, no way, he's got facial hair.
You gotta love it when you coach youth football and you show up and you have to always bring one kid's birth certificate.
Yeah.
That's when you know you got a dog in youth football. But I tell you what, back to this game. Now Eastside needs their dogs here the second half. And how big, Jeff Mahoney, is this first possession?
Well, in Eastside, remember, they started off the game against Lures with 2 onside kicks. So they got that in their bag there, too. But they're going to spread it out here. And the first kickoff of the game here for the Blazers is going to be fielded at the 18-yard line. He's got room to run. That's Paul breaking tackles, running over defenders all the way to the 48-yard line. What a run.
I see you, Alonzo Paul, 5'8", 170. The senior comes in with 37 catches this year. 57 catches, 6 touchdowns, but he shows you some wiggle on the special teams there. Good field position for Andrean now. Good field position, Jake, on first down. Do you attack down the field?
Man, I think with a 10-0 lead to start, I would take a shot early and just try to go for the jugular.
First down and 10 from their own 48-yard line. Bowen lined up behind Ballantyne, the sophomore quarterback, barking out the signals, hands it off. Another patient run there by Bowen. That's going to be a gain of about 4 yards on the play to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, I like it when they bring their big tight end, Eddie Bastoto, over to make that block. So I like him, 6'1", 200, and get some good push up front when you watch the replay. Watch the tight end come in motion. Now you see how they push up front? That's a good push. Now Bowen needs to stay in that hole. No reason to shuffle your feet there. Stay in the hole. And for Eastside, it was Bibby that time that came down and made the tackle.
Second down and 7. Ball at the Eastside 49-yard line here for Andrean. 2 wide receivers up top. That's Paul in the slot. And they're going to go to him on the wide receiver screen. Turns the corner, and Paul stays in bounds for some extra yardage. Takes it all the way to the 35. That's going to be a gain of about 14 on the play.
Did you see the wheels on that kid? My goodness, Alonzo Paul, the senior, gets outside with quick feet. And you love what you're seeing with Andrean right here. They come out in the first play with a trips bunch right out of the pistol, and now they're going back, spreading it out, and getting it quick out to the hands of the playmakers.
That was a nice play call. That was a nice adjustment. They recognized the cushion on Paul and took advantage of it.
First down and 10 now from the east side 35-yard line. Ballantyne with the wing to the right of the screen, and following is going to be Bowen off the handoff, dragging defenders over the 30 all the way to the 28-yard line. Eastside doing well to try to strip that ball, but still a big gain there by the Notre Dame commit.
Again, another great block by Bastardo out there. They get good push from their offensive line. Their offensive line's brand new this year, but they average about 235 pounds. But I like it. That's a good run, first down. You see how Bowen begins to really enforce his will between the tackles. Now watch out here for a deep ball here.
Second down and 3 after the 7-yard gain. Ball placed at the 28-yard line of the Blazers. It's Paul in the slot on the bottom of your screen. Ballantyne going to hand it off to Bowen. He's stuffed at the 30. That's going to be a loss of 2 to 3 yards on the play. Wow, darting in there for Eastside was number 42.
Brady Loeb.
That's Lob.
Yeah, Lob, exactly. I love what Brady did that time. 6 feet, 245. Just drops the pads, man. Nice job to fill it. I thought Bowen was going to get more. Right there. See how he comes off the block? Beautiful. That's how you fill that hole. Now here we go. This is a huge third down play here. Bookmark it.
Third down and 5. Ball at the 30-yard line after the loss of 2 on the play. Ballantyne rolling to his right, looking downfield, has a man, and that's his brother, Bobby Ballantyne, out at the 9-yard line. Was that number 84?
Looked like it out there. That was a bust that time for Eastside, and Robbie Ballantyne was run wide open up there. That was just a bust on the outside receiver. We'll check the number on that, but watch Scott Ballantyne search and find it. See up top? See the corner come in on the blitz? That's a bust. corner, blew that play, and that looked like Ballantyne, Jeff, out there making that catch.
Yeah,
wow,
that was Robbie Ballantyne.
And if you'd have set a stopwatch right there, he had about 3 to 4 seconds to get rid of that football, and his brother wide open again.
Yes, and that was a bust on the Eastside defense. But you're right, Scott Ballantyne finds him.
1st down and 6. You got to believe the ball's going to Drake Bowen in the backfield. The handoff does go to Bowen, and not much room to run. Keeps his feet churning. Gets down to about the 5 to 6 yard line.
Now, one comment I want to make about Bowen, and it's the only critique that I think anybody could give him. He's had issues throughout this season with ball security, and it shows you how cognizant the Eastside coaching staff is. Every time he hits the hole, you see how many defenders are putting a hand and trying to rip that ball out of his arms. But again, Bowen is cognizant of that too, and you can tell that he's been coached this week. Hey, we can't give up the football down here, especially in the red zone.
That's a great point, because look at them. They're tugging like crazy at it, and he's got his big 20-inch guns around it, doesn't he?
He's hugging that ball like a youngster hugs a teddy bear at night.
That's right.
2nd down and 5 here for Andrean from the 5. It's going to be 2nd and goal, actually, as a handoff. No, play action. Scott Ballantyne looking for the end zone. He's got 6. That's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season as Andrean takes the 16-0 lead.
Nice athletic play by Ballantyne. I thought Bobby Davis on the edge for Eastside had him, Jake. But I tell you what, Scott Ballantyne is much more elusive than what they've shown on film. And again, they go away from tendencies.
Well, you know what? When I was talking to Coach Skinner, I said, okay, so is he more like Pat Mahomes or is he more like Tom Brady? I was expecting him to say more like Pat Mahomes, because in the LaVille game, you could see he was athletic. It's not like he doesn't have rushing yards because he can't run the ball. It's because he's a pocket passer, wants to get his guys involved. But, man, he is an athlete, and he is showing us some stuff tonight.
And, Jake, talk about how difficult it is. As good as he throws the ball, now it's a whole other dynamic for the defensive ends when he can get outside and run like that.
It is, and as you see right there with the replay, he pulled the ball, and Bobby Davis couldn't have played that any better.
No.
He
Bobby
made
Davis
the
was
read.
right there.
He made the proper read and reaction, but the problem was he has a little bit quicker feet than what we expected.
Yep.
And Ballantyne at 6 foot 180, he's a little shiftier than what we thought. And that one little cut step right there, and it's off to the races. That was frustrating for the Eastside defense.
You're right. He holds it for just a second. Bobby thinks he's in the right position with the edge, Bobby Davis, but that's the greatness of Scott Ballantyne. And again, only a sophomore, completing 68% of his passes, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, Jeff Mahoney. I'm so impressed with the quarterback for Andrean.
Boy, it didn't take Scott Ballantyne long to wipe away that minus 49 yards rushing on the season.
That's right.
Now he's got positive numbers now and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he does. Now, if you're Eastside on offense now, that hurts because you give up the touchdown the opening second half drive.
That hurts.
But now you got to move with an urgency. You got to move quicker. You got to get out of that huddle quicker. You really got to get moving faster now.
So taking the kickoff here, Dakota Reed tracking it down, but that's another touchback by Adam Tazik. That's his 35th touchback of the season. Wow, what a weapon.
And to me, that's a special teams win for Andrean this entire game so far. They've only had one real kick return allowed. You put that ball deep into the end zone, and then you don't have to worry about it. You take that third tier, the special teams, out of the game. And here it is. You're starting to drive from the 20 again for Laban Davis and company. 80 yards to cover. Just that simple addition and subtraction we always talk about on special teams, guys.
And, of course, that was Nico Tovar converting the PAT. So Wallace switches to the left wing. Handoff goes to Dax Holman. Holman's going to rumble forward for a gain of about 3 to 4 on the play.
Yeah, Holman runs so hard with the pad level, but I like the Andrean defense. They're bringing a couple guys down and just not playing around anymore. They're basically playing a 5-man front, and I think that's been really effective. See how Andrean, everybody's in the box?
Yeah.
Just going to be tough to run on that. So Eastside, they're going to force Eastside to beat them throwing the football.
Dax offset right, and Davis, boy, he's really selling that read option there. You know that he's going to keep it one of these days, and he's going to break off a big one.
Yeah, between Damari Wright and Dom DeTola, it's just tough sledding in there right now for Dax Holman. So now you're third down again, Jake. You're probably going to be forced to throw the ball. Maybe you come back to that little screen you had some success with the first half, but this is a huge third down, Jake.
It is, and one thing that I'd like to see from the Eastside side of the ball is a little bit more sense of urgency. You're wasting half to two-thirds of your play clock. We're getting down into desperation mode here.
2 wide receivers at the top of your screen, 1 on the bottom. Wallace switches to the left. Third and 4. Davis keeping himself. And wow.
It's going to get about 2 yards. The crease is there, but the difference between Lures and Niesbrook versus Andrean is how good the linebackers are.
Oh, yeah.
Andrean's fantastic at linebacker to close it out. Watch the backers here. The crease is there. See it right there, but watch the backers close down. Beautiful linebacking play. I think you have to go for it here, Jake.
It's dangerous, but I agree, and Andrean's defense is playing so shut down right now, they're just pinning their ears back and making them try to make a play.
4th and 2, and looks like another punt coming up for Eastside and Davis as he gets that one off. Another nice punt, nobody back there. Let's see if he gets the roll, and does, to the 25. It will be down.
I would have rolled the dice and gone for it there. I know that's a little controversial, but, man, 4th and 2, you got to get something going with your offense. And really, as good as Andrean was on that last drive, I think my defense kind of needs a blow too, but we'll see here. So, Coach Mason's had so much success this year and done a great job. So let's see if the East Side defense can suck it up now and maybe get a stop.
Yeah, so Joe, on that play right there, once again, that's what you were talking about. These linebackers, they're not getting sucked into the middle here. They're scraping over the top, and that's exactly what you got to do in that. And all season long, that strong right tackle and the strong right guard for Eastside have been able to trap defenders there.
They have. Bowen has been dominant in the middle and does a great job of reading those plays.
New running back in the backfield as it's bunched right. It's going to be hand off to Stevens, trying to get the edge and nowhere to go there.
Nice job. That's a great job out there. Looked like Dakota Reed, the junior, 6 feet 200 from his outside backer position, Jake. Fills the gap, takes care of the alley, and closes that down.
Yeah, the linebacker play on both sides of the football tonight has been very, very exceptional.
Watch him get off the block right there. See how he shoots upfield, Jeff? Beautiful on the Traction AP replay. This is stellar linebacker play, but back to the East Side offense. To me, that's the difference tonight. Those offensive linemen, they were able to get out in those linebackers and take advantage of the crease, where in this game, Andrean's been really good with their backers.
Bowen back in the backfield for Andrean on 2nd down and 10.
That should be a false start.
Yeah, it's a false start that time on Eddie Bastardo, number 28. And see, Eddie, I love you, Eddie. You can't get away with that because you got no more color on your helmet. When you hit as much as Eddie does at inside linebacker, you got to love that. The senior, 6'1", 200. But you're sticking out with that helmet, man. So if you flinch, they're going to see you, big dog.
So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 15 now. Andrean from their own 21-yard line. And, boy, if you're Eastside, you'd love to see a turnover, a scoop and score here for the Blazers as they're going to hand it off to Drake Bowen. Bowen nowhere to go. Nice. We got a flag on the play.
Going to have holding on the right guard. That's a great job out there on the end. Looked like Gavin Wallace and the linebacker Kyler Bibby came and made that tackle. I believe you're going to have a hold on the right guard. Let's see. Oh, wow. I didn't see that. Let's check that again. That's going to be but they went low. Is that what they're calling that time, Jake?
That's what it looked like.
I didn't see that, Jeff.
We'll rewind it again. Let's see if we can't pick that up. I thought maybe it was going to be in the area of a face
hold.
mask.
Looked like maybe the inside guard when he pulled. I thought he had some jersey right there, but personal foul. That's a devastating penalty against Eastside. So now let's see, 2nd and 1.
What were they calling there? That's what I'm saying. It looked like a chop block.
Chop block call.
Yeah, maybe they got it turned around. Maybe they can. I mean, if that's a chop that he called, that should have been a chop block on the offense. That would have made sense if it was a chop block on the O-line.
And Bowen looking to pick up the first down does as he drags defenders all the way to the 40. And guys, we'll take another look at it because I'm a little bit confused too. You see the defender come in low, but he's trying to make a tackle.
He's trying to make a tackle, and you can't chop block on defense.
You see right over there on the left side of your screen.
Yeah,
up
he shot through. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just getting low. And I think that was Davis out there. Davis is only about 5'7", 5'8", so, man, I tell you what.
Hopefully we'll get an email to clarify that play right there.
Yeah.
First down and 10 now from the Andrean 40. You're right, Barstito there on the left wing. Sticks out like a sore thumb as he finds Paul, another wide receiver screen. Look at Paul finish, punishing on the play all the way to the 47. That's going to be a gain of 13.
That's a nice block out there, Jake. You talk about stock blocking your wide receivers. Watch it on the replay. Paul is freed up because it looks like maybe Clack's out there making the block. Check it on the Traction AP replay. He gets the ball. Watch this block right there. He just kind of ran outside him, but he was in position to stock block, and the Eastside defender took him out of it. But you love it when the wide receivers block for each other.
Absolutely, and having the field of vision to do so like that was fantastic.
And that's Robbie Ballantyne out there, man. He is put together for an outside wide receiver.
He's tough.
First down and 10 now from the Eastside 48. Andrean, and we got a flag on the play. And look at that. Paul is wide open, pushed out right around the 24.
That's another route tree to the short side. Robbie runs the deep route off. Looked like Paul that time had the wheel route. Let's see what they call this time. So many penalties in this game, and typically you don't see that many penalties in a semi-state game like this. So false start, man. So that's a break for Eastside that time because that was a good-looking play to Paul that time, Jake.
It was a compliment to the Andrean offense. Whoever their passing game or their offensive coordinator is, you notice that when they go down this list of these wide receivers that they have, Clax has been neutralized tonight.
Yes,
so they find other pieces to throw to, and it's just like a needle in a thread. You're prodding and probing a different receiver until you find the hot one, and they just found it, number one, Alonzo Paul.
Yeah, and faking the wide receiver screen and then a delay down the sideline. That's beautiful. First down and 15. From their own 47-yard line after the loss of 5. Ballantyne hands off to Bowen, and not much room to run as he's going to be wrestled down right about the 48.5-yard line.
And Andrean continues to kind of want to run that counter action, that kick out, but Eastside has been stout on that play. I would probably come back and attack again down the field with my wide receivers, but really a pretty good job, though, by Andrean. Jake, you always talk about mirroring that run and that pass game.
Yep, absolutely. And when you can marry those together in whichever way that does, Eastside does it well with Laban and they do it well with Ballantyne down here. It's impressive to watch.
So second down and 13 now for the Fighting 59ers as we approach 2 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. Ballantyne going to keep it himself, running to the right, and he'll be stopped right at about the line of scrimmage, a gain of 1 on the play. Chasing them down was Dakota Reed, along with number 51, Trevor Fichter.
Yeah, I like Fichter. Fichter is strong. Fichter's a senior, 6'3", 210. He's very difficult to block at the point of attack. But again, the outside backer in Reed, another up-and-coming junior that makes a big play here. So now if you're Eastside, boy, you desperately need a stop here to get your offense back on the field.
You absolutely do. It'll be interesting to see if they send a little pressure here.
I'll tell you what, whoever wins that game between Evansville and Mater Dei, they got something else to think about now with Scott Ballantyne as a runner. Ballantyne looking to the out, and Clax cannot come up with it. That was a timing pattern there, and it looks like that ball was just thrown a little bit too high.
Yeah, he's got to catch that. My golden rule as a quarterback was if you touch it, baby, you catch it. Now watch on the replay this time. Scott Ballantyne does a nice job looking off the safeties that time. He's got one-on-one to Clax. Watch Ballantyne look off right there. Now you see him plant, come back field. Got to catch that ball. It is a little bit high, I agree, Jeff, but if that ball hits you in the hands, you got to make that catch.
Well, Clax is an awesome wide receiver. Only a sophomore,
fantastic.
But he's great.
Tremendous prospect.
Great pressure by Eck on that last play there to get in the quarterback's face.
And this time Bowen's going to punt it. That's a worm burner. Goes out of bounds right around the 27.
Now this is where I hurry up if I'm Eastside. That ball's got to be snapped between 15 and 20 seconds on the play clock, Jake Smith. We got to get moving here.
Tempo.
Tempo has got to be set right now. You guys are absolutely right. And as much as I love seeing Laban go inside on those interior zone read runs, you've got to start getting downfield, guys. You're down 3 scores, a quarter and some change to go. You've got to make something happen.
I'm looking for Gavin Wallace. My wingback, 26 catches, 414 yards. So I come out here, I throw the ball on first down here and tack a little bit, but it's all about tempo. Now look at Andrean. They're in a cover 2 now, but look how close the safeties are. You got some man-to-man out here.
And Davis going to pull it back, rolling to his left. And boy, man, what looked like might be an open window there closed real quick.
Trey Stevens, number 2, 6 feet 190. The sophomore. Watch on this replay here. Looks like Davis might have something, but Jeff's right. Watch the speed and watch the closeout. You see the flow, then watch him get off the block. You see the speed? Beautiful. Engage, disengage, run back side, and close it out. That's defensive football.
Tanner Wicker and Carson Jacobs at the bottom of your screen. Wallace going to the left wing. 2nd down and 9. Here for the Blazers, following his blockers is Davis. Wow, nowhere to go. That man's been a monster all game for the 59ers. That is Joey Kalachi.
Yeah, Kalachi is fantastic on the edge. Sets the edge, and also Robert Gonzalez. Gonzalez has played well out there too, Jake. But I think at this point, they basically have taken away your run game. I think you got to begin with the clock being behind. You got to really open it up and push the ball down the field.
You're absolutely right. And even from a clock management standpoint, I'd rather see the incomplete pass than I would get knocked down in bounds.
1 minute left to play in the third. 1 minute on 3rd and 10. Wide receiver screen. And a nice catch, but Bredemeyer does nowhere to go with it for the Blazers.
Yeah, and that's a great job again by Stevens and Bowen. And I like the play call, but it's so tough against a defense that runs so well backside. Watch backside run to this play. He's got something, but watch backside run there. You see how they close it out? Beautiful. Those are my dogs. I always say, who can run backside on the defense?
Bredemeyer at the top of your screen here on 4th down and 8. We got another punt coming up for Davis as he lets her fly. That's going to be a nice punt. Rolling 30 and out of bounds right around the 27-yard line. I'm telling you what, he does a great job with those quick hurry kicks for the quarterback. Gets a lot of nice roll out of it. If he could keep it more in the middle of the field, he'd probably pick up another 10.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, I think he's a kid that could play at a MAC school, so we'll see what happens. Now, if I'm Eastside here on defense, I'm a lot more aggressive. And if I'm Andrean, Jeff, I'll probably run my big back here, see if I can't shorten the game a little bit.
Hey, are you guys with me and Casey about Eastside having some of the best helmets that you've seen in northern Indiana?
I love them, man. I tell you what, is that a lightning bolt down there on?
But it's got that nice chrome on that matte finish. You got to have the chrome on the mat.
I tell you, being a big Columbia City guy, we've got some dope helmets, but Cherubusco looks like the stinking Oregon Ducks.
Busco's got some sick helmets for sure. Handoff goes to Bowen. And I'll tell you what, Eastside's done a good job of bottling them up a little bit. Bowen's getting positive yardage, but he's not breaking any.
Speaking of helmets, you got to love Coach Haydock and the Wayne helmet. He just goes into the supply room and digs out some old stars that have been buried for like 25 years, and he says, why not? We'll put these in the helmet, right?
His helmet game will be strong next year for sure.
It better be with that back, Lamarian Nelson, but that's the end of the quarter. I agree, though, Jeff. Eastside's been stout against the run, but boy, has Andrean been stout overall on defense tonight.
Well, everybody, we'll be right back after this quick break. You're watching IHSA Championship Network presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and powered by Summit City Sports.
here at Always 100, we have different things that we provide each week with our elite training, working on things that can help them get a scholarship in the future if they don't have one right now. Watching skill development, helping kids get better, understanding what it takes to get to the next level. Catching and shooting, working on ball handling. In the last 5 years, we had over 200 kids just able to play basketball at some places from the NAIA division.
Welcome back, everybody. 2nd down and 7 here for Andrean. Scott Ballantyne out of the pistol. They're going to go play action. And a beautiful pass, and it's intercepted!
Oh, my goodness!
Going the other way with it, Carson Jacobs, and that's what the Blazers need!
A scoop and score, just like Jeff Mahoney called, is what they needed, guys. And right now, we've got a football game again, and that fast. IHSAA football. Boom, baby, to the house.
That was sick!
Wow.
Right through the receiver's hands, and Jacobs was right there. Johnny on the spot.
Bastardo had it. Scott Ballantyne puts it in Bastardo's hands. Watch it. He's got it right there, the big tight end. But wow, coughs it up. And Johnny on the spot. Carson Jacobs. And can you say, woo, Uncle Mo?
We're going to look at that again, but the defender knocked that ball out. He punched that ball out. I saw that happen to Deshaun Jackson last week in the Las Vegas game. PAT is up, and it's good as Eastside pulls to within 10 points. Guys, check this out again.
See if that was Dakota Reed on the coverage.
Yeah, I think that might have been Dakota Reed, number 32. Okay, so Ballantyne, does a good job of getting over to him. You see that?
Yes.
See that left
Good
arm
call.
come in there?
Good call, Jeff Mahoney. Good arm. Good eyes.
That's Dakota Reed, number 32.
Tremendous play by Reed. Good call, Jeff Mahoney. Heads up, and he makes the play. And, of course, Carson Jacobs is right there. Now you got yourselves a football game. And, boy, if you're Andrean, it was a really safe pass. But, boy, oh, boy. Maybe you want to keep the ball on the ground, Jake Smith.
That right there was the spark you needed. And if I'm the special teams coordinator, I'm screaming in my headset, put this stinking ball on the ground, boys. Onside kick. We're back in this thing. Let's go.
And I think Andrean's reading it. They got 6 guys up, so let's see what they do here. But good call on that, Jeff Mahoney. That was a punch out by Dakota Reed.
Boy, we talk about the brotherhood right there. Carson Jacobs knew exactly where to be to grab that ball out of the air, didn't he?
He was gone, wasn't he? He smelled the end zone.
Yeah, you're right, Jake Smith. We were asking for it on the other end, but better late than never.
There he goes.
There's the onside.
Oh.
Man, he was looking for that hop.
Yeah, he just didn't get it. But
didn't get the hop.
Yeah, good job out there. I tell you what, Andrean's well coached, aren't they? Nice job with those Andrean special teams. Didn't panic. Got down the ball, but you're right. They were looking for that last hop. But right now, you got to suck it up. Now you got some momentum. Got to play some defense. Maybe get another break. If I'm Andrean, I run the ball here.
They said it was a little soft down there on the turf. We had a lot of rain on Wednesday.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if maybe a little bit too soft, just didn't get that kick like they needed.
And as good as they've been with those onsides, Jeff, I agree. Maybe the bounce wasn't there.
First down and 10 from their own 44-yard line. They're going to give it off to Old Faithful Drake Bowen. And he's struck down from behind by Dax Holman.
Wow, how about the hand strength? 6 feet 210, the junior. Woo-hoo. How about the hand strength and the grip by Holman, Jake?
That is a defense playing with purpose and playing for each other. And you got to keep running the ball and grinding this clock. But Eastside is not out of this football game, guys.
Did you see the strength on that? You see how he gripped him? Wow, that's a 220-pound bull. Fullback to Holman just gets a hold of and tosses around like a rag doll.
Second down and 9 now from their own 45-yard line. Hall up in the slot, gets the wide receiver screen, picks it up off the turf, and he'll be drugged down right around the 48. That's going to be a gain of 7 yards on the play.
Now, guys, this is one thing that I watched in Ballantyne in film that I didn't like this week. They love running those screens, and a younger guy like that will air those out a little too much. And you know this, Joe Walburn. You've got to zip that ball in there on the screen quick and tight, and especially when you're on the bubble like that.
Wow.
He was a step away from a pick six, taking that to the house the other way, guys.
Yeah, they're smelling that and jumping that. That's a great observation. I don't think I call that play again if I'm Coach Skinner. It worked for you, but now a money down here. Big third down, Jeff.
And on the bottom of your screen is number 21, Clax the third, on 3rd and 3. And Ballantyne's going to keep it himself. Boy, he looks like he's got the first down. I want to know where that ball was when his knee hit the ground.
Yeah, I would have liked to see
Good
that
spot.
too.
Good spot.
They're going to measure. They're going to measure. I think he's going to have it by Jake's credit card. We'll see if we can run that credit card for chicken wings tonight. But look at the athletic ability, though, of Ballantyne. We didn't expect that. See how he gets upfield? That's a good job by the quarterback.
See, your knees down.
Yeah, that ball should have been about a half a yard maybe the other way. But I think he has it. We'll see.
Yeah, he's got that one.
I think he's got it, man. Yep, Jake's credit card. Jake's credit card's good.
It's good.
It's good, baby. So, wow, how about Andrean? But how about Ballantyne, man?
Oh, yeah.
See, we didn't expect to see this much running tonight. That's a big run because if I'm Eastside, I'm
3.
selling out. Yeah, exactly. Jeff's right. That's 3, and if I'm Eastside, I'm selling out in the big back there.
Well, Eastside's defense has played well tonight, guys.
They have
a couple
played
big
well.
plays there by Andrean.
Now, I would be tempted here maybe to begin to blitz a little bit with my outside backers. See if I could create, a sudden change play here.
First down and 10 now from the Eastside 46-yard line for Ballantyne. Another wide receiver screen to Paul, pushed out right around the 41.
Yeah, and that's where maybe you begin to cheat up on that, okay? You're kind of giving a cushion out there. But what's interesting, Jake, and you can comment on this, they run that to the short side.
Again, a very, very critical decision right there. And I tell you, usually short side football is not so much there, the phone booth stuff we talked with Laban Davis, but on the Andrean side of the ball, it does bring a little bit of a safety net to not get that route jumped so quickly. So I like that a little bit than the way that they ran it before.
Brings up 2nd down and 6, ball at the 42-yard line for the Fighting 59ers, up by 10 with 9:43 left to play in regulation. Bowen and Ballantyne out of the pistol. Oh, looking for Bowen, turned the wrong way, and he is stuffed. Dakota Reed was right there to make the stop at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a bust. And when Ballantyne recognized it, he had to get upfield.
Yeah.
But nice job by the backers again. Dakota Reed to scrape and make the tackle. Now here we go. This is a huge 3rd down here. And if I'm Coach Mason, I'm begging out of Bibby and Dakota Reed and Fichter and Dax Holman. I'm begging for a stop here.
3rd down and 5. The right wing for the 59ers is Bastardo. Ballantyne out of the shotgun. Another wide receiver screen to Paul, and he is stopped. He's going to be about 2 yards short.
That's a great job by the corner out there, Bredemeyer, to get upfield to beat the block and make Paul turn it in, Jake. Once they turn it in, they got the tackle. Now, if I'm Andrean here, as good as my defense has been playing, I would punt here and make Eastside eat up the clock and go the length of the field. Now, if you're Coach Skinner and you get aggressive, this could be a closeout play. You're thinking if I get a first down here, I'm in pretty good shape. So Coach Skinner smells a closeout play. I would punt here if I was Andrean.
And you're right, Bredemeyer did a great job of beating that block. 4th down and 2. Paul in motion, faking the jet sweep. Ballantyne.
Stop
and
it.
Oh, that's going to be close.
He's short.
I don't think he's got it.
He's going to be short by a yard. Wow, I can't believe they ran Ballantyne again with the big back and Paul in motion. They brought the motion that you like, Jake, to move the backers, but Holman and company didn't move an inch.
That was great defensive football right there. They rose to the occasion, and 8 minutes left, guys. We've got a football game on our hands here. Let's see what comes out with the Eastside side on the offense.
And I got to give a hats off to Coach Skinner, Jeff, believing in his kids and trying to throw that knockout punch.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been so tempting to punt, maybe pin Eastside deep. But let's see what happens to the Andrean defense here and see what Laban Davis can do.
Empty backfield for the Northeast Indiana Player of the Year. Davis finds his man all the way to the 48-yard line. Carson Jacobs, who scored the last touchdown for the Blazers.
I agree with you, Joe Walburn. That is a MAC college-level throw right there. Perfect foot placement. The ball's on time, and now they're rolling. Look at the up-tempo, fellas.
1st and 10 now from their own 49-yard line. 2 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Davis looks that way, now rolls to his left, and with the spread, he's got room to run as he walks out at the 45.
And now we're seeing that Laban Davis mobility, and they've got the tempo running down the field. There's nothing wrong with that. If that power run game isn't there and you can't work to that type of the chains, now's the time to send those deep seams and deep vertical routes down the field, and then let Davis get out of the pocket and roll, and that's how you can use him to run to get to the sidelines.
Jake Smith, you are right. That back shoulder throw on that first down was outstanding. 2nd down and 4 for Davis. Has his man sitting in the pocket. That's number 2, Tanner Wicker, for an Eastside first down.
So for any of you young kids out there playing Madden, that right there is what you call a bench concept. You throw one guy out on the corner, they bite to him, and then your under route is the out, and he's open every single time if they bite. And there it is. Look at this dink and dunk down the field, guys. 7 minutes, 30 seconds, and Eastside is rolling.
How about the tempo on this drive, guys?
Redemeyer now at the bottom of your screen here on 1st down and 10 from the Andrean 37-yard line, rolling to his left, throwing across his body. Davis has a man, and that's Redemeyer.
Number 5 has taken control of this offense. He's put his town of Butler on his back, and Eastside Blazers are rolling, guys. Keep this tempo up. Andrean's got to make a defensive shift quickly.
I would burn a timeout if I'm Andrean and Coach Skinner right now. I'd burn a timeout, give my kids a blow, and get organized because Eastside is rolling right now.
1st down and 10 now from the Fighting 59 or 26-yard line. Davis working out of the empty backfield as he has all drive. Gets out of the drive, and he takes it into the 19-yard line. Wow, that time Tatalo had him in the backfield.
Andrean's defense got away with one right there, guys. Now, one thing that I was getting ready to say, number 11, Carson Jacobs, they were going to run almost like a pick route. They sent a receiver from the left-hand side towards the inside of the field, and Jacobs would have been absolutely gone on a corner route, and he was, but the pocket collapsed, and Davis had to run. They got lucky right there.
I thought Tatolo was getting another sack. 2nd down and 4 from the 20. Davis rolling to his left, looking in the end zone now. Calling for his man to go deep, and fires. That was nearly intercepted.
Got to be careful there. You can't throw the ball late back across the field, so Davis is trying to make a play, and, boy, you got to be careful there. Eastside's fortunate there. Pretty good defense for Andrean. Now, if I'm Coach Skinner, I would burn a timeout here. This is a monster 3rd and 4, and I would give a different defensive look. This is going to be huge. Bookmark it. Huge money down play, Jake.
You're absolutely right about that, Joe Walburn. And we'll see if they come to the play side of the field here and take a shot.
3rd down and 4 now from the Andrean 20-yard line. Need to pick up the 1st down. In the slot there is Carson Jacobs, number 11. Davis goes to the out pattern, and Wallace has it for a 1st down.
A beautiful play call right there. Looks off the back shoulder, throws outside to a quick out route, picks up the 1st down. The clock stopped at 6:04. This is fantastic passing concept football right here, guys.
Doesn't it feel like, though, Jake, with the pass game, when the quarterback gets in rhythm, it makes all the difference?
It 100% does, and it's going to open up this quarterback run game. They've been trying to go power for so long, and now you're seeing that spread, and it's opening the field.
Wicker out of the game. Johnny Eck back in for Eastside. Davis has a man wide open. That's Bartello. He's looking for a hole. Takes it down to the 2.
Now, I'm running hurry-up offense and going Laban Davis right up the gut.
Yeah,
Get the tempo up. Don't even just go.
Yeah,
right now, get under center and go.
I agree. Andrean's looking gassed now. I agree. I would have immediately snapped the ball. Now, they got stoned in the first half here. Let's see if Eastside can punch it in.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line for the Blazers. Looking for their first offensive touchdown of the game. And we got a flag.
False start. Wow, that's just another penalty, another mistake. Looked like maybe the left tackle that time on that one. They were sitting a long time in their stances. I agree with you, Jake. as great as Coach Mason's been this year, that might have been an opportunity to quick snap them, baby.
Yep, I would have went quick snap, and I will say, though, on a false start here, I'm not mad. They struggle so hard inside the 5 punching that ball in. This may give them a little bit more open space to get to a wide receiver here.
Ball placed right in the middle of the field on 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Been empty backfield this whole drive. Davis looking on the out, and he's got a man, and that's a touchdown!
That right there, a scoring play, the same play that the Andrean Fighting 59ers had fumbled on with that punch out on the way the other way. You're throwing to the back shoulder away on the run. What a play call, and 5:13 to go, guys, and we're a one-score game.
And that's Kyler Bibby. They've been best friends since kindergarten.
Unbelievable.
Catching the 8-yard out for 6. We'll see if they can make it. A one-score game here. A 3-point lead. PAT is up.
Woo! Wow.
And it's good.
The Butler house is rocking tonight, fellas. I even started thinking for a second, 17-0, the game's getting out of reach, and all it takes is one bang play on the defensive side of the football, and now Laban Davis just realizes again, hey, I am the guy. I can do this. We're in this game, and now it's a 3-point game with 5:13 to go, and I'd go onside kick again.
I would too.
I tell you what, that Dakota Reed punch out to Carson Jacobs, did not just turn this game around? And now, if you're Andrean, you don't want to get too stiff. You don't want to all of a sudden get too conservative. You still want to be aggressive because there's 5 minutes left, and Eastside has their timeouts. So Andrean has to put a drive together. But, man, what a way to cap off a great year of high school football. Another Jeff Mahoney classic. And thank you to all of our great sponsors with Summit City Sports and Pat operating the camera and Casey O'Boyle and Jake. And to you, my friend, Jeff Mahoney, all the games you bring for Summit City Sports, my friend.
That's Binion Biddle, who just hit the PAT to pull his team to within 3. And I got to believe we got another onside attempt coming, too. We got 6 59ers as they're going to spread it out there. Right at the 50, which is the 10-yard mark. No, they're going to go deep. It's going to be Paul receiving it at the 10. Looking for a seam up the gut.
That's
dragged
a good
down
tackle.
to the 28.
He had his hand on the ball, too.
He did.
I thought for a moment Paul was going to cough that up, but nice job by Paul to have the strong hands and not put the ball on the ground. Here we go, my friends. 5 minutes to Indianapolis for both teams.
Great tackle there by number 56, Carson Days, a junior at 6 foot, 190 pounds. Carson Jacobs also in on the stop. First down from their own 28-yard line for the Fighting 59ers. Slacks at the bottom of your screen. Paul up in the slot. Bowen in the backfield. They'll hand it off to Big Drake, the Notre Dame commit. Hurdling defenders over the 35 to the 36-yard line. That's a big gain of 8 on the play.
That's all Bowen that time, dropping the pads, jumping over guys. There really wasn't a whole lot there. Eastside scraped pretty good. That's just Bowen carrying guys for big yards. Now, if you're Eastside, I'm begging, if I'm Coach Mason on my linebackers, I'm begging for my backers to get hyper-aggressive here.
Second down and 2 for Andrean at their own 36. Clacks once again at the bottom of your screen. It's Robbie Ballantyne has a passing touchdown in this game and a rushing touchdown. Hands it off to Drake Bowen. Remember, guys, earlier in this game, Bowen looked like what would have been about a 22-yard touchdown run around the left edge. Got called back for holding. That was a big run.
That was. Now, comment, Jake, I like it better when it's pure ISO with Bowen and he hits the hole hard. I don't like the offset moves. Talk about the difference a little bit. Seemed like Bowen hit the hole much harder that time.
Absolutely. I would just send him on the ISO type stuff. Just give him the dive. Give him nothing too crazy outside with zone or power, and just let him do his job. He's a Notre Dame commit. He knows what he's doing. Lean on him right now.
First and 10 from the 50. Clacks wide out on the bottom of your screen. Valentine out of the shotgun, barking the signals and hands it off. Bowen stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Look at him grabbing for the ball, guys.
Woo!
That's Holman. That's 6 feet 210, the junior, filling the hole that time. That's best on best. That's Dax Holman on Drake Bowen, two of the best juniors in this state. That's how you fill the hole on ISO football.
Absolutely, and every single time that he gets botched up, they are reaching and pulling on that football.
I see you, Drake Bowen. Boom! That's how you play middle linebacker, baby. And now Eastside's got to suck it up. Now, if you're Andrean, do you attack with your pass game here? Maybe I do. I roll the dice here, Jeff.
2nd down and 9. Shout out to Dane Siebert, the D tackle, taking on 2 blockers there and holding his ground. Rolling out to his right. Valentine has a man. Paul out of the 38.
That's beautiful. It would have been so easy for Jacobs to undercut that route, the outside corner, but he couldn't leave his guy. And that's bread and butter Andrean football. Put Paul in the slot. Watch the play action here in the Traction AP replay. Nice fake. Gathers, throws. Paul's on the out. That's a staple go-to for the Andrean offense. That's a huge first down.
1st and 10 now from the Eastside 39. Valentine. Hard count. Hands it off to Bowen. Nowhere to go! Woo! Dane Siebert, the sophomore.
I burn a timeout here if I'm Eastside. How about Siebert? 6'4", 285. Wow! Another dominating prospect. I see you, 77 in green out there. Good timeout by Coach Mason, Jake.
Yep, this is a very, very spirited defense right now. Woo! And you're trying to lean, if you're Andrean, you're trying to lean on your Notre Dame commit. You're trying to get the clock ground down and get out of here with a 3-point win, but Eastside is not done yet. 2nd 12 coming up. Big stop there. The passing concepts of Andrean have been kind of the cornerstone of this game, and just like we said, guys, they're finding somebody who can make the plays, and with Patrick Clax III being shut down tonight by Carson Jacobs, they're able to find another guy, and it seems like the hot hand is Alonzo Paul. He's all over the field. He's in all the passing concepts and all the route trees, and he's doing his job to get them down the field quickly.
Quickly, Jeff, some scores. Great game between Northridge and New Perry. With 2 minutes left, looks like Northridge just scored to go up 20-14 up at that semi-state game. Other games in 6A, Westfield absolutely. Looks like Westfield got after Maryville big time. That final was 48-19, and Center Grove won big. So Northridge trying to hang on, and a good one here.
2nd down and 12. Bastardo on the right wing. Offset right is Bowen on the jet sweep. They're going to fake it. Valentine taking it up the gut. He takes a hard hit right at the 36.
Big hit. I burn another timeout here if I'm Eastside to make it a big 3rd down. So, wow, how about Andrean running the quarterback? I thought for sure they might throw the ball there. That was a big-time hit. Wow.
And you get into the time of the year, it just shows some of that great coaching. I go back to Kamari Juarez, right? You have these coaches all week, I just don't think he's going to play this week, guys. I don't think he's in. Or, this guy can't run. And next thing you know, they're leaning on him. And you know they've seen that stuff in practice, and they've been scheming and brewing this thing up for a game like this. A trip to Lucas Oil is on the line here, so nothing is off the table as far as play calls are concerned.
Yeah, quickly, Jeff. Adams Central 42-7 over North Judson. So that's a final. Mount Vernon 42-28. Over Evansville Memorial.
What a season Mount Vernon's having.
Absolutely. Northridge 20-14. They had just punched one in with 2 minutes left. Center Grove 45-6 over Ben Davis. They rolled. Rebuff hangs on up at Mishawaka Marion 17-16. Zionsville's rolling Michigan City 42-15. So, man, a lot of good matchups. And that's a final. Westfield 48, Maryville 19. So
what was the Modern Day Cecina score?
23-7. That's the final. Modern Day won that.
Modern Day, okay.
Modern Day's waiting.
They're waiting. They paid the $10, baby. They're watching.
Yes, sir. Big play here, my friends.
3rd down and 7. Valentine out of the shotgun. Barstito to his left. Bowen, nowhere to go.
What a
wrapped up by Dane Sieber, putting in an MVP type night.
Wow. Now what do you do now if you're Coach Skinner? Do you play field position? I think I'd roll the dice and go for it. And I think I would attack. What's the strength of my team? My passing attack. Do I want to punt here and let Eastside with 2 minutes left go the length of the field? Or do I roll the dice here and try to end the game? I would suck it up and go for it here, Jeff, if I'm Andrean, and throw the football. But, man, watch Eastside in the replay right here. Look at the field. Beautiful linebacker play. Read, react, disengage, scrape, make the tackle. Eastside's awesome at linebacker. Now, if I'm Andrean, guys, what's got me here is my passing attack. I roll the dice. I'd probably come back to that out, that boot, out, play action to Alonzo Paul. I've had a lot of success tonight with that play.
I totally agree. I was just getting ready to comment on that. Number one, Alonzo Paul, the senior, he's been your sure-handed piece all night. These concepts like the bench and the smash that they've run have allowed to get him open, so I would try to go to that again.
And if I'm Eastside on defense, I would be hyper-aggressive. I'd probably blitz my outside backers or I'm here. Now Paul's down here in the slot. Keep an eye on number one and White. This is a closeout play right here.
It clacks up the top of your screen to the boundary. Ballantyne out of the shotgun, rolling to his right. He's got Clacks on a crossing pattern, and he finds Robbie Ballantyne all the way to the 19.
And it's unbelievable because Jacobs was cheating for that out, Jake. Carson Jacobs for Eastside was playing the out like we thought he'd go to Paul. And, man, Scott Ballantyne goes to his brother Robbie. And watch this on the Traction AP replay. Watch Robbie go up and get this ball. Jacobs is cheating the out, and watch Robbie. That's mine. Wow. That's a huge play, and that might do it, you guys. That might be your closeout play.
Boy, Robbie Ballantyne has played like a beast today, has he not, Joe Walburn?
Absolutely, and it's amazing because we thought we'd see Clacks. We saw how good Paul is, and Eastside really, for the most part, took Clacks away, but they step up, and Robbie Ballantyne, the third option, probably has the biggest game of his life tonight.
1:32 left to play and no timeouts. Is there anything else Eastside can do here?
And I think you've just got to try to get a turnover somehow, punch a football, hope for a botched snap. I mean, it's danger time for them right now, unfortunately.
And Joe Walburn's going to head down to get us some post-game reactions from Coach Skinner and Andrean, as it looks like they are going to win this semi-state championship, which will be their 7th championship in school history. Jake, you have a player of the game here for Andrean. Is it going to be the sophomore quarterback, Scott Ballantyne, who's actually up for the Offensive Player of the Year in his conference, a conference that Andrean won? They shared the conference championship with Lowell and Hobart. That's the Northwest Crossroads Conference. Who do you have as your player of the game?
Yeah, I think you got to go with the sophomore quarterback in this one. As much as I'd love to see you get Alonzo Paul on that call with just some of the sure-handed catches he's made, your quarterback has not only been able to throw the ball tonight the way that he was labeled to us and forecasted that he could, but he's also had some monster runs and commanded his offense.
So it looks like it's victory formation here for the Fighting 59ers. Boy, what a comeback here for Eastside in the second half. Started off with that touchdown by number 11, Carson Jacobs. I mean, we saw it. That was Dakota Reed. Got his left hand and knocked the ball out of the hands of number 28, Eddie Bastardo. And Jacobs was right there to pick it up and take it to the house. That was about a 42-yard run for Jacobs. And then how about the out pattern there by Laban Davis, pulling his team to within 3 points.
You know, looking from Eastside, it's just such a spirited squad that's got this far, and this is uncharted territories for the school, and hats off to them even in this loss. But you are going to kick yourself all off season when you go back and watch this film and you look at a couple small mental mistakes on a couple small penalties that really did put this game away for you. But what a spirited comeback by the Blazers and a well-coached team by the Fighting 59ers as they take another knee.
So Scott Ballantyne going to get our player of the game honors, and Andrean, they're heading to Lucas Oil. So the loss that was just devastating for them, as they did not win the conference outright when they lost to Lowell 17-7 in a monsoon of a rainstorm at Lowell. Now they have totally redeemed themselves, getting to the state championship game. Wow, Eastside, what a season you had. Laban Davis, the Northeast Indiana Player of the Year, has just been incredible to watch, and what he's done in the postseason, knocking off the two giants in Bishop Lures and Eastbrook. Wow, what a season, winning the school's first ever regional championship.
Absolutely, and a lot to hang both their hats on from both these
Hey,
Spirit
Jeff,
programs.
I'm down here with Coach Skinner. Congratulations, Coach. What a win. And, you know, hats off to Eastside. They fought back, but your kids kept their composure and did a heck of a job tonight.
Oh, man, yeah, what a ball game. Hats off to Eastside. I mean, that's an incredible football team. What our defense was able to do tonight, containing Laban Davis, I mean, that dude's an unbelievable football player. We definitely wanted to limit his ability in the run game, which opened up some things in the pass game. And yeah, got a little tense at the end, but man, our boys got it done.
Coach, defensively, I agree. You're going to love the tape with your linebackers. They scraped and did a great job, and you made Eastside, you know, have to beat you with the pass game, which they just weren't able to do it. So I agree with you. Talk to me for a second about how good your linebackers have been this year and tonight.
Oh, man, they've been great all year. And then obviously, you know, what the task they had to do tonight was a tough one. But Joe Colaci and Drake Bowen and Eddie Bastardo and Trey Stevens, they've just gotten better and better and better every week working within our scheme. And so for it to culminate in that, in what they did holding Laban, I don't know how many rushing yards he had, but that was impressive.
How about your sophomore quarterback, Scott Ballantyne? We broke the game down, scouted you out. We thought he was a pocket passer, but it felt like you guys went away from tendencies, and when you needed it, he made some big runs.
Yeah, well, they kind of forced us to. We had to do some things we didn't do a lot of. He actually called the last play. He wanted that last play, so that's a credit to him.
And last question, Coach, what's it mean to you to win the semi-state game, to be the head coach of all these great kids in a great community, and get that semi-state championship for Andrean?
You know what? I'm an alum of the school. It makes me very proud. You know, there's a lot of. I played in a state championship in 2004 with some of these coaches, but there's a handful of them that never got to play in the Dome, like my brother and one of my best friends, and so now they get an opportunity to experience that. That's what I'm happy for the school, for the alums, for all of it.
Well, congratulations from Summit City Sports, and Coach, win that state championship next week.
Thank you, sir. We'll give it our best. Thank you.
So that was Coach Chris Skinner in his sixth season there with Andrean.
Hey, Scott, congratulations to Joe Walburn with Summit City Sports and Jake Smith and Jeff Mahoney. Man, we did the scouting report.